You're watching Sunbelt Conference football on ESPN on homecoming weekend in Mobile. They've rolled the traffic circle. There's been parades, bonfires, pep rallies, all leading up to what is inside Hancock-Whitney Stadium. Today, it's Louisiana at South Alabama. And welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Pat Greenwood alongside Brian Gennard. We got a good one in store. Neither of these teams are where they want to be, but both insist they're better than the record.
Yeah, sitting at 2-6, you definitely don't want to be 3-7 tomorrow, because if you are, it kills all hopes of bowl eligibility.
Well, let's talk impact players, and how about for Louisiana, the guy they call Lunch? He is the man.
Yeah, he is the man. He's carrying the bell for him right now. Lunch was hurt all last season, but this year started third on the depth chart, but he's risen to number one, and he can hurt you with his legs. That young man had almost 4,600 yards rushing in high school, 70 touchdowns. He's been the Sun Belt Player of the Week on offense once this year, so somebody's going to have to keep an eye on him and keep him contained.
Well, the guy designed to stop him is Terrell Johnson Jr., and he's been a good one lately.
Yeah, he really has. Terrell Johnson Jr. had his best game last week against Georgia State, and he really helped them preserve that victory. You can see he forced a fumble right there. He's going to get an interception right here, and those were the last two possessions for Georgia State that sealed that victory. 10 tackles last week, 4 of those solo.
And when we talk about bowl eligibility, that's a big deal because both teams are 2-6. Here's the bowl streak currently. Louisiana's been to a bowl game since every year since 2017. The Jags every year since 2021. So one of those streaks will come to a close today, whether it's Coach Desormeaux on the other side, whether it's Major Applewhite on the near side. It's going to be very interesting to see where this thing ends up, because really I think this is a coin flip. Who wins this football game? I don't know which team's going to show up on either side.
Yeah, and it's crazy. If you pull the stats up on both these teams, I mean, they are within yards of each other in every category, offensively and defensively.
Logan Klotz will kick it away. Louisiana won the toss, but deferred to the second half, so it'll be South Alabama wearing their reds today for homecoming. A chance to try to return this one. It'll be Michael Woods, the deep man for South Alabama, as Klotz will approach the ball at the 35, and we are underway, and that is Woods, who will call for a fair catch. And not necessarily make it cleanly, but clean enough. And it'll be 1st and 10, South Alabama at their own 25-yard line. There's a look at Bishop Davenport. 67% completion percentage, but you see the rushing attempts. 76 for 189. He scored 4 times on the ground. 16 of 22 last week, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And really the offense that we saw from South Alabama last week against Georgia State was very different, especially in the first half, than we've seen all season.
Yeah, and they're going to need more of that today to kind of try to get this victory. I think some of that on that kickoff was that sun, and Davenport's looking right into it if he looks downfield right now.
And it'll be Davenport. Little swing pass underneath to Miller McCrumbie, the tight end, running over people and gets close to the first down. Had to get to the 35. I think it'll be about a yard short. But Miller McCrumbie, one of the several tight ends that we'll see from this Major Applewhite offense.
Yeah, Miller does a good job of just kind of tight roping the sideline right there, and I think he just gets the run over just because he can right there at the end, try to get his team fired up on the first offensive play.
So 2nd down and 1. That's Devin Voisin in motion. Kentrell Bullock gets the call, gets the first down as he rumbles up to the 39-yard line. Now, Kentrell Bullock is the workhorse for South Alabama offensively when it comes to the run game. P.J. Martin is his backup. Martin is unavailable today, so I would look for a lot of Keenan Phillips, maybe some Trayvon Dunbar as the day progresses.
You'll kind of see how that hurts you, because Martin has been running the ball really well.
Meantime, Bishop Davenport running the football pretty well, gets the first down along the left side, across the 50 and into Louisiana territory.
Yeah, that time Bishop Davenport just sees that left side open up, did a great job of sealing the end, and then Bishop Davenport does the rest with his feet as he crosses midfield. Nice block right there downfield as well by your wide receiver to kind of spring that. That's Rod Gibbs.
So the 48 is the new line of scrimmage. Bishop, a design pass going to the right side, and not exactly sure where that one was supposed to go. Devin Voisin questioning Anthony Eager as well. Somebody didn't run the correct route.
It was a design pass. It just
not sure to who.
It wasn't designed by both of them. But I think Eager was supposed to run the kind of the out and up, and that's what Bishop Davenport was looking for. And as you saw the outside receiver run the curl route, and then so he was looking for the up, and nobody ran the up.
Trips to the near side on 2nd down and 10. We'll pitch to Kentrell Bullock, and he will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. That's actually a pretty good effort just to get back to the line of scrimmage, because Louisiana blew that one up along their left end.
Yeah, when that pitch came, they were already almost in the backfield. That's a safety, Jalen Clark, that came up, I think, it's hard to catch that number the way that jersey, but that is rolled up right there. But yeah, they were in the backfield quick, and it kind of blew that play up. And like you said, Davenport lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
I think Louisiana may have been offside. There is a flag down. Incomplete pass going to Jeremy Scott. It was double covered, but it is going to be offside on Louisiana.
It's just that hard count. You could hear the clap from all the way up here. Davenport put all he had into that one. And, it got I think Kreider, the one who jumped there for the Raging Cajuns.
Well, the other thing that does now, that brings up a 3rd and 5, and if you get positive yards here, this is probably a go situation. So instead of 3rd and 10, now 3rd and 5, as Coach Dez looking on. Jags trying to convert again. Keenan Phillips in the backfield now. He'll stay in the block. As I'll go to Devin Voisin, and his overthrown little out pass, trying to get him in the flat. Couldn't get to him, and it'll bring up a 4th and 5, and the punt unit will come on.
Yeah, he had Voisin. Voisin had a step out there, and he would have gotten the 1st down. Just that ball sails a little bit on Davenport as it gets over to Voisin on the far sideline.
Yeah, I think Bishop just missed that one. So brings up a 4th down, and Alexi Polkinen will punt it away to that man right there, Robert Williams. Williams 15 punt returns, averaging 20.2. So given the opportunity. Polkinen, but not a great punt. And we'll see where the official will run to, and it'll be past the 20 and about the 23-yard line. So not a great punt for Polkinen, and Louisiana will have decent field position when we get back. 12 minutes, 51 seconds left to go. First quarter, the Cajuns on offense for the first time after this. So South Alabama, 6 plays, 32 yards. It goes nowhere. There's a look at Tyrell Johnson Jr. We'll talk more about him as the game progresses. But Louisiana will take over at their own 25-yard line, and that's our first chance to see Lunch Winfield He's the redshirt sophomore from Lutcher, Louisiana. And you talked about his gaudy numbers when it comes to high school. And here's a guy who can throw, don't get me wrong, but loves to use the legs. And coming off a game last week where he ran for 139 yards.
And I think South Alabama just real time. I thought that punt was more closer to like the 30 where it went out. So I think they got a pretty decent spot right here to start this possession at the 25.
And Lunch will go right side. Pass is complete. Not much room, though. South Alabama, that's about a 1 yard gain. They flew to the outside. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. There's Christopher Wallace Jr., the guy that made the stop. It's a local product.
Yeah, and it was also a really nice play by Ty Goodwill. He saw the play, got up there, and really kind of got engaged with the defender. And that really kind of freed up some folks to go make the play at that point, because they stood those blockers up right at the line of scrimmage.
Handoff left side. Good running there by Zylan Perry, the running back, and late flag after the play. You kind of think that may be a face mask on top of it. As Zylan Perry got across the 30 to about the 32. And it is indeed a face mask on Ed Smith, the 4th, 15-yard penalty. So that'll give Louisiana the 1st down. And yeah, that's a good call there as Smith was trying to make the tackle. Perry lowered the head, and Ed Smith just brought him down by the face mask.
Just a really nice job by the right side of that offensive line to open that hole up right there. And then when he goes to cut back, Ed Smith reaches back to make that tackle, and the only thing he comes up with is the face mask.
So Lunch by himself, a design quarterback draw, gets across the 50 to the 49-yard line. So the Cajuns in South Alabama territory. Pick up a 4 and bring up a 2nd down and 6.
Ed Smith trying to make up for it right there. Does a good job of just kind of recognizing the run by Lunch. I'm sure they've got somebody on that defense. Its whole job is it's either got to be Blaine Myrick or maybe Johnson or somebody like that that's kind of just watching Lunch to make sure he's contained every play. But a nice play by Ed Smith, the 4th there.
If you don't have a spy on Perry, he's going to, or no, Lunch, I should say, he's going to get you. Meantime, Perry can get you along the left side. Rumbles down to the 42-yard line, good enough to move the sticks. Another Louisiana 1st down as Zylan Perry, the Franklin, Louisiana native, 9 carries, 21 yards, and a touchdown last week. Also had 1 reception. He was a quarterback and a DB in high school when he went to Franklin High School. So a very athletic build in that backfield.
That's just a nice job by the left tackle, Bryant Williams, as well, to kind of seal that end around and give him that running lane.
Give it off to Perry again, and this time he is met by a bunch of red jerseys. That's a loss of 2 as Zylan Perry ran into a wall. One thing to keep in mind, too, with this Louisiana offense is injury riddled is not fair, because it is more than injury riddled. They've lost 8 players along the offensive line this season. And so the defensive line for South Alabama needs to take advantage of that. But Coach Dez has been playing the shuffle game, trying to just find anything that'll work along that offensive line.
And that's so hard, too, because, I mean, that's a group that has to work cohesively. And so it's just not filling somebody else in. It's getting that cohesive package as you're calling your blocking schemes and things like that. But South with another nice stand right there on the defensive line to hold that play up and hold them to really no gain right there. Bring up a 3rd down.
Yeah, I'll officially give them 1. Blaine Myrick, the Fairhope, Alabama native, just across the bay in Baldwin County. Brings up a 3rd and 11, but you are in South Alabama territory, so some positive yards maybe. That go is in effect if you don't convert here. 5 wides for Lunch. Pressure along the backside. He can run, and he's going to take off along the left side. Across the 40, 35, 30, 1st down, I believe. Yes, he needed to get to the 32. He'll get to the 31. That's how dangerous Lunch Winfield can be back there.
Yeah, and Blaine Myrick, you know, your preseason defensive player of the year, he learns right here, because you'll see right here as Lunch flushes out of the pocket, takes off. Myrick runs towards him, and Lunch just heads towards the sideline, then turns up and picks up that 1st down.
So the Cajuns moving on their first possession, started at their own 25, now at the South Alabama 31-yard line. Bill Davis now in the backfield as Landon Struther in motion. It'll be Lunch going to his right. Looking for the wheel route along the left side. Not there, so Lunch will take it himself. Makes a move, and Lunch Winfield down to the 25, maybe the 24-yard line.
Boy, if he lets that ball go early, he's got Shelton Sampson Jr. He's just running a post route. He's behind the defender. I don't know if Lunch just didn't see him or didn't feel comfortable with the throw. He chooses to run. It works out pretty well for him, positive yards, but Shelton Sampson Jr. had the defender beat by a couple of yards right at the goal line.
Made a great move on Darius McKenzie. Second down, it'll be Lunch across the middle. Completion and touchdown, Louisiana.
He saw him that time.
Shelton Sampson. This is a guy that missed 3 games due to injury, and he came back last week with a vengeance. 5 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown, and picks up where he left off. Sampson, the transfer from LSU, although he is a Baton Rouge native, so Baton Rouge only about 50 miles or so away from Louisiana, from Lafayette, Louisiana. And the touchdown gives Louisiana the 6-0 lead, now the extra point pending.
At that time, Sampson just running a just deep in route.
And Tony Sterner knocks it through. 21 for 21 so far on the season for Sterner. And Louisiana takes advantage on their first offensive possession. They've got a 7-0 lead in Mobile. A 9-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. Lunch Winfield to his big-time wide receiver, Shelton Sampson Jr. across the middle. And for the 3rd straight game, Louisiana has scored on their opening drive.
Yeah, you see right there, he's got man-on-man coverage on the outside. Sampson just runs about a 10-yard and then just cuts it to the post. He has that inside position. And Lunch Winfield does a great job of just hitting him as he comes out of that break. And the Raging Cajuns on the board here in Mobile on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely gorgeous. Not a cloud in the sky. And we see some Halloween costumes still lingering on this November 1st. Although maybe they're just coming in from the Halloween party. I remember those college days.
Home.
Can't do that stuff now. But back in the day.
You can. You'll hurt for about a week and a half.
They'll kick it off to Micah Woods again and again. He'll call the fair catch and make it at the 3-yard line. So we'll see Bishop Davenport and the South Alabama offense for the 2nd time. They got into Louisiana territory the first drive and then bogged down just a bit.
Yeah, it seemed like everything was clicking. And then they had the miscommunication on the throw downfield. And then the one that he was trying to get Voisin in, they would have given him the first down. Just sails on him a little bit.
Brendan Jenkins is in on the near side as a wide receiver. He caught a touchdown last week against Georgia State. We also have Jeremy Scott, who got a touchdown as well. And it'll be a little pitch pass to Devin Voisin. He's got some blocking. Voisin across the 40, across the 43 to the 44, but there is a flag down in the backfield.
Yeah, you're going to have a holding call right there around the 25-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 2. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Replay, first down.
So Miller McCrumbie is the guilty party. First penalty of the day against South Alabama. And penalties were the big problem when the Jags hosted Arkansas State. That's the last time we've seen South Alabama at home. And you see right in the middle of that screen, there's a big hook by number 2, Miller McCrumbie. So a good call, but when they played Arkansas State, the Jags had 14 penalties. Wound up losing on a walk-off field goal. Lost that one 15-14.
The first couple of weeks of the season, I mean, they were so clean kind of across the card, only getting about 30 yards in penalties, and then it seemed like they started racking up about 100 a game.
Nice little quick pass to Micah Woods, who will get some of that back. Still second down and a long way to go. Jags have to get to the 35-yard line to convert this one. There's a look at Major Applewhite. Was the offensive coordinator before becoming the head coach. You see 80th in the FBS when it comes to penalty yardage. Another quick pass, but then a great job defensively by Louisiana closing it down. Brent Gordon Jr. was there. Good open field tackle to bring up a third down.
Yeah, 80th now, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think by the time they made it to that Auburn game, they were in probably the top 20, in penalty yards, and have really taken the slide since then.
Third down and 6. Davenport with protection, throws left side and in and out of the hands of Jeremy Scott. Well, Scott last week, 3 catches, 121 yards in the touchdown, and that one hit him right in the hands and goes right through. And so South Alabama goes 3 and out, thanks in part to the penalty. They had a big gain on the pitch pass to Devin Voisin that was called back. And now Pulkkinen to punt it away again, and Robert Williams will stand about his 27-yard line.
That's one of those ones you've got to come up with that. Davenport puts it right on you. You would have had enough for the first down, and instead South Alabama punting from inside the 30.
Pulkkinen didn't have a great punt the first time. This one doesn't get a lot of air either, but we'll get a decent roll as it'll bounce right to the spot where Louisiana started their last drive. So the Ragin' Cajuns will start at the 25 again when we get back. It's 7-0 Louisiana over Mobile. Back to Hancock Whitney Stadium after this on ESPN+. for the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns offense, here's what their rushing attack has done so far this year. 188.4 yards per game. That's 5.1 every time they touch the ball. 15 touchdowns so far. And on their first drive today, 34 yards on the ground. It's tied for fourth in terms of the most rushing touchdowns in the Sun Belt Conference. Zylan Perry got the majority of the work in that first drive. But it'll be Bill Davis in the backfield now as Louisiana starting their second possession. They'll go left side, going up high. Is the catch made inbounds? They say yes. Good catch there by Shelton Sampson Jr. It was good coverage by South Alabama's Javon Henderson, but give Sampson credit for climbing the ladder and making the catch.
Yeah, almost right here in front of us, and you can see as he goes up and gets his ball, he does a great job of just getting that back foot and dragging it right along the sideline. The official right there on it spots it down.
That's a pickup of 9. That'll make it 2nd down and 1. Perry set along, that's Davis set alongside Winfield, and it'll be Davis with the carry. He gets the first down. And we'll get to about the 37-yard line, and Louisiana will move the chains once again. That's the 5th first down for Louisiana already.
And nothing fancy right there. Just go right up the middle and get a nice little push from your offensive line. You only needed 1, and you got 2.
And especially when you got an offense that has been struggling with the changes along the offensive line, the confidence they're building early on is fantastic for them. 1st and 10. Once again, another little quick pass to Bill Davis. And they'll continue to move forward up to about the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 3. We'll make it 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, how many times you see a team pick up 9 yards on first down, and then they decide, hey, let's take a shot here. We only got a yard to get, and all of a sudden they get stuffed on 3rd down, and you're looking at a punting situation. And Louisiana said, no, let's just go ahead and get this one on 2nd down and not worry about that. And short gain there on 1st down. Bring up 2nd long.
Tight end to the left side. They'll give it to Davis along the right side, and he's wrapped up and brought down by the local product, Tyler Thomas. Thomas, 6'5", 259 pounds, from Cottage Hill Christian, not too far from the South Alabama campus. 13 tackles on the season coming into today. His twin brother Trent is a tight end on the offensive side. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Louisiana has to get to the 48-yard line to move the chains. 36.9%. We'll give them 37% on 3rd down so far on the season. And it'll be Winfield to pass. And he's going long, left side, looking for Sampson. Good coverage and a better catch. My goodness. Shelton Sampson Jr., that was laid in perfectly by Lunch Winfield. And Sampson, big chunk play for Louisiana.
Well, Chandler has great coverage, but I tell you, one of the things when you just watch Sampson play, he doesn't give indication the ball's coming to him. He kind of slows down a little bit and then just explodes right there at the end, sticks that one hand out and able to bring that ball in. So he doesn't give Chandler the indication the ball's coming in, so Chandler doesn't have time to get his hands up. And boy, what a snag right there by Sampson, and what a great throw by Winfield.
They dropped it in perfectly. Only one place that the receiver could get to it, and that's exactly where Lunch put it. Meantime, Zylan Perry along the right side. Hit after a gain of about 2, maybe 3. And once again, we haven't seen negative plays from this Louisiana offense. A couple of chunk plays here and there. And they just continue to move forward, and they'll give them 2 yards there, make it 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, like you said, not picking up, you don't get huge yards there, but you're not behind the sticks either, right? And you can see that confidence building almost with every little play as the Ragin' Cajuns kind of feeling it right now. Offensive line's doing a nice job, and Winfield's doing a really good job back there throwing the ball and also using his feet as well.
They'll keep it on the ground. Perry right side gets near the 10-yard line and maybe to the 9. They'll bring up a very manageable 3rd and 4. Zylan Perry add more to his total. Just about 20 yards on the ground for him. More importantly, those 3rd down conversions have been good for Louisiana. They're 2 for 2 today.
That offensive line continues to just kind of win the line of scrimmage, blowing them off the ball about a yard or so, and that gets Perry going. And Perry's not afraid to duck his shoulder and run over some folks either.
3rd down and 4. Lunch under some pressure, and he's going down. Dalton Hughes, the guy that wrapped around the backside and is able to bring Lunch Winfield down, and that'll force a field goal attempt. That's a win for South Alabama's defense right there.
Yeah, that's huge right here. He doesn't give up on him. He comes up. Looks like he's going to miss him, but Dalton Hughes doesn't give up on the play and circles back around and makes sure that he got Lunch Winfield down. And it's a great play right there.
So Tony Sterner in to kick the field goal. He's 12 of 17 on the year. This will be a 33-yard attempt. And curling in the uprights, and he's got it. But whistles and flags. Let's see what the call is here.
Yeah, I think they're going to get south. They were trying to get them to spread out from right over the center. And I don't know if they line somebody up head over the center and the umpire calls it.
Result of the play, the field goal is good. There's no foul on the play.
Okay.
So Jeremy Parker says play on. Field goal is good. And how about Louisiana? On top 10-0. You come in with a mishmash of an offensive line because it's been a mash unit for those guys. And offensively, you got to really love what you've done. 120 yards compared to 41 for South Alabama.
Yeah, I think the biggest shock for me, Pat, is 82 of those are in the air. I mean, not taking anything away from Lunch Winfield. His greatest asset seems to be his legs in a lot of games, and 139 yards rushing last week. But we've seen him drop a couple of balls in that were just, I mean, that throw, the touchdown throw to Sampson was a great throw as he came out of his break right there, recognizing that one-on-one coverage, and then that big chunk play to drop that one right over Sampson's shoulder. Of course, now Sampson made a beautiful one-handed catch, but his receivers are definitely helping him out. But yeah, 82 passing yards so far for the Raging Cajuns.
Well, Lunch Winfield showing that he can do more than just run the football. And here goes Louisiana to kick it off for the 3rd time this quarter. That'll be Kentrell Bullock, who will try the fair catch. Didn't field it cleanly, and they have to jump on it at the 16-yard line.
Well, it threw him off because the up back also called a fair catch. He started backing up, and he pulls off of it at the last second. And then when Kentrell Bullock gets up there, it just kind of comes up a little short on him. It doesn't help that both of them are looking up into the sun as well from that angle. And South Alabama going to start back a little bit because of
Please set the game clock to 122, please. 122.
Well, as good as South Alabama looked offensively in that first half against Georgia State, they just haven't found their footing so far offensively. This is their 3rd drive, and really needing to get something going before they fall into a hole they can't dig out of. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line for Bishop Davenport and the South Alabama offense. That's Kentrell Bullock to his left. It'll be Bishop instead throwing right. There's Jeremy Scott, hauls that one in. A little quick pass across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Be a pickup of about 6. We'll call it 2nd down and 4.
A couple of things right there. Probably gets the confidence back for Scott if he dropped that one that could have given him the 1st down earlier. Just get him back in the rhythm of this game.
They'll stick to the air. Davenport across the middle, and oh my goodness, how was that not intercepted? That was Jackson playing defensively for Louisiana. Cody Jackson, he seemed to be more of the intended receiver there. I'm not exactly sure where Bishop was trying to go. Devin Boyson was covered big time.
If he's got coverage across the middle, man, and then he's got help over the top with the safety and Jackson. And if you don't see Jackson, you got to see the man that was standing in front of Boyson.
So 3rd down and 5 officially. There's McCrumbie up to the 29-yard line. Good pitch and catch. And a 1st down for South Alabama. A much needed 1st down for the Jags. Their 3rd of the day. Chains move as the clock winds under a minute. We've got about 38 seconds and counting here in the 1st quarter. Anthony Eager in motion. They'll give it to Kentrell Bullock left side, and Kentrell, very hard runner. He's a transfer from Ole Miss, but has been at South Alabama for a while. Refusing to go down, gets to about the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 6.
As you originally watched that play, I think he's going down about a yard in. All of a sudden, he pops out the other side and picks up a nice little gain right there for South. Kind of a sigh of relief, too, and a deep breath on that first down, because, man, the last thing you want to do is down 10, punt that ball that quick back to Louisiana.
And the Jags will not run another play, and that will bring it into the first quarter.
Into the first quarter.
The Ragin' Cajuns coming into Mobile and making a statement early. We played 1 in Mobile. It's Louisiana 10, South Alabama nothing. Welcome back to Mobile, Alabama. In addition to homecoming activities, there's a look at the 2025 USA Athletics Hall of Fame inductees. Pete Coachman, Sean Collins, Ronaldo Freeshoe, Kaylee Todd, and the late Hal Williams, all inducted today at a ceremony at the Bell Tower at about 10 o'clock this morning. So congratulations to the Hall of Fame new inductees. They're hoping that the Jags can get something going offensively. Facing a 2nd down and 4 as we start the second quarter. It'll be Bullock, right side. Kentrell is rolled down right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he got 1 or 2, but great pursuit along that defensive line by Lance Williams.
I think they're actually going to give him about 1.5 yards. Cut this down to about a 3rd and 2 here for South as they try to pick up the tempo a little bit.
Got to get to the 39-yard line. Bullock again met and pushed back. I don't think he got it.
Boy, where the officials are coming in, Pat, I think they gave it to him, and he did.
Jordan Lawson was the guy that pushed him back. I didn't think it was enough, but the spot goes South Alabama's way, so the Jags do get the first down.
Yeah, he initially got stuffed, but As we've seen Kentrell Bullock do so many times, he kept those feet moving and got a little bit of a push. And you see the hit right there as he kind of spins out of it. Maybe picks it up and then gets driven back, but first down, South Alabama.
Jaden Duggar was the first guy to hit him. They'll give it to Bullock again and again. Not much doing. Good job once again along that defensive line. It's Fitzgerald West Jr. First guy to get to him. His 15th tackle of the season.
South looked like they're going to start playing with a little bit of tempo right here. Just trying to find some kind of offense as we start this second quarter.
Second down and 8. It'll be Bullock. And he'll worm his way to about the 45-yard line, about 4 yards shy. It'll bring up a third down and 4. Some jawing back and forth between these two. As we'll see what South Alabama can do on third down. They're 2 for 4 today. And they got to get to the 49-yard line to move the sticks once again. And as we mentioned, no P.J. Martin today. P.J. Martin, the New Orleans native, who spells Bullock a lot. Martin is out, and Bullock isn't 100% healthy either. It'll be Bishop to pass. Left side, catch is made, first down across the 50-yard line. That's a good pitch and catch to Devin Voisin.
Voisin took a pretty good shot right there. He came up tapping his helmet. I thought maybe he was going out, but maybe talking to the officials about getting hit in the helmet.
Bishop to pass again. Voisin going deep. They're going to take a shot. Triple coverage. And it's incomplete. Probably pretty fortunate because that would have been threading the needle to get it to Devin Voisin. But the way the South Alabama offense has been working, they haven't taken a lot of deep shots until last week. So maybe if nothing else, this is something to kind of loosen that defense a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm not crazy about the couple of deep shots they've taken so far because Davenport's thrown into pretty heavy coverage. He had Michael Woods that had floated out into the flats over there. Probably could have picked up the first down.
Pitch pass, Anthony Eager. He's got a ton of speed. Cut down at about the 43-yard line. Anthony Eager, the local product from McGill-Tulane Catholic High School. And get him along the edge, it's tough to get to him. And he scored on that play a couple of games ago. Brings up a third down and about 4. They'll go ground game. Bullock first down. So Kentrell moves the sticks once again for South Alabama, and this is more of a drive that Major Applewhite needs to see from this offense.
Yeah, you got to love that right there. That there's nothing really fancy about it. Just a lead right up the middle, and just Kentrell Bullock being able to lower his head and get those extra yards, and he's going to get a little bit of a breather right here as Phillips checks in.
And it will be Keenan Phillips who gets the carry, and he's got a hole. Keenan Phillips across the 30 to the 29-yard line. Keenan Phillips from Bainbridge, Georgia, transfer from Georgia Military, but there is a flag.
Illegal formation, offense, more than 4 in the backfield, number 9. 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
So Jeremy Scott is the guilty party, and will look like a promising play on first down. Now we'll back the Jags up, and it'll be 1st and 15.
And that's one of those things that drive you crazy because as a wide receiver, you're talking to that official the whole time, and you're telling them, hey, I'm up or I'm back or, you know, where I need to be. And they're telling you either scoot up or scoot back. And you see Scott pointing out to the official, telling him where he is on the line this time.
They'll go to Woods. Woods trying to make a move and gets to about the 36-yard line. Michael Woods, the Birmingham native. He's a transfer from Buffalo. Talked to him early in the season. Tell us about the difference in the climate between Buffalo and South Alabama.
Yeah, but he being a Birmingham boy, he's used to some of that up. You know.
Yeah, it's a little different though. MAC versus Sunbelt.
Yeah. Would have liked to see him just keep running towards the sideline and maybe not try to cut that one back or let the defender go by him. Just keep his feet right there.
2nd down and 9. Wide open receiver, and it's a catch by Anthony Eager. He had to slow down and get to the ground to catch it, but it's a good pitch and catch and another first down, and the Jags are in the red zone. Tempo offense. Here comes South Alabama. Keenan Phillips is the running back. They'll go to Eager once again. Trying to slip a tackle. Can't do it. But still a positive gain for South Alabama inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, Boyson out there with the block. And Eager couldn't decide if he wanted to go inside him or outside him, but you see the play right there with the big catch by Eager. He really wanted Boyson deep, but I thought Davenport does a nice job of, he sees the double coverage on the deep route, checks down to a second receiver, which is Eager coming across the middle. So a nice read right there by Bishop Davenport to pick up that big chunk play for South Alabama.
A 2nd down and 7. Keenan Phillips. Hole along the right side, and Keenan Phillips will rumble into the end zone, and South Alabama is on the board. Their first touchdown of the day. The rush from Keenan Phillips.
You're talking about a well-blocked play. I mean, from our angle, it almost looked like the old school, like we're going to set up the wall for a punt return or a kick return right there, because they put a seam in there, and Keenan Phillips hit it. I mean, it was just a beautifully designed and beautifully executed play, but the blocking was just, that was fun to watch from this angle, as you could just see the whole. You may have made it.
I don't know about that. I'm not that fast anymore.
You wouldn't have had to be fast to get through that hole.
Davis Little is the place kicker today. He puts it through, and the extra point is good. So 9 minutes, 38 seconds to go in the half. South Alabama has struck back. Cajuns with the lead, 10-7. Phillips, his first rushing touchdown of the season. And you talked about that blocking along the right side. That was amazing. But how about this stat? 16 plays, 84 yards, took 6:46 off the clock. And for a stadium that had kind of been zapped of energy a little bit, here comes the South Alabama offense delivering.
Yeah, a lot of it was that offensive line, and Amari Wiggins, 57, he's the one who comes around and gets that kick out block, and that's really what opened that lane there. And yeah, they're starting to jump around a little bit. There is some energy getting back in the crowd, and they need it after that slow start.
So Hamilton DeBoyan will tee it up and kick it away. First time we've seen the Jags in kickoff formation. And DeBoyan to Robert Williams, who will put the tee out, let it go into the end zone, and it'll be, oh, this is original. 1st and 10 at the 25. That's where Louisiana's been all game long. They'll come back with the offense after this commercial break. Back to Mobile and Hancock Whitney Stadium. 10-7 Jags trailing the Cajuns. Back to Mobile is Louisiana on top now 10-7. And this is a team last year that was undefeated on the road, 6-0, and this year just a reversal of fortunes, 0-4. And you look at a Louisiana team that was picked to win the Sun Belt Conference West, and everybody kind of a little puzzled as how are you 2-6? And they've had the injuries we've talked about along the offensive line, but it's just been a string of bad luck. And Louisiana's a better team than their 2-6 record indicates. I think you can say the same thing about South Alabama. The Jags have had penalties that have cost them a game. They've had turnovers that have cost them a game, and it's just been a confidence thing for Louisiana trying to get something going on the road. But they've got the lead here as we see their first drive of the second quarter, and that's the first time we've seen Steven Blanco, the 5'9" redshirt freshman from St. Martinville High School, picks up a couple.
It is crazy how football is such a game of just momentum, and that can be in a single game or it can be in a month. It could be, you know, just kind of the way things are going. And it seems like, you know, losing's kind of contagious sometimes. It gets you, and then it's hard to get back over that hump. And both of them, like we talked about in the opening, trying so hard to get it back righted today so they can hopefully hold that dream of being bowl eligible.
Design Ron Winfield spinning his way a yard shy of the first down, gets to the 34, and that'll bring up a very manageable 3rd down and 1.
Just a nice run up the middle. They're playing with tempo now as well and bringing the jumbo package.
It'll be Davis. Doesn't get much, but gets enough. He just had to get across the 35. He'll get to the 36-yard line. But yeah, it looked like they had about 12, 13 offensive linemen there, didn't it? No doubt what they were going to do, and it worked. First down, Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the official to flip on his microphone and say, hey, 70's eligible or somebody's eligible, because it did seem like you had a lot of offensive lineman type looking folks in there, but late substitution here for the Raging Cajuns as they hold that line, give South a chance to. And there you go, slowly trot him on.
Ed Smith will come on at his own pace. Steven Johnson checks out. And now we're ready to go. Under 8 minutes to go in the first half. A little razzle-dazzle here. The reverse coming near side. Doesn't get a whole lot. Charles Robertson was the guy coming along the right side, and South Alabama pretty well prepared for it, but still pretty decent chunk of yardage, just about 7.
Yeah, but Chris Wallace Jr. does a great job. Watch him come all the way from the backside. He sees the play. He stays with it, chases it down. And actually, Wallace is on there, but it was Hughes that I was talking about that comes all the way around chasing that play. The second time we've seen him behind the play, but keeping up that momentum and making a tackle.
And now a whistle and I believe movement or delay of game. No, there's
delay of game. Defense, number 0, disconcerting signals by clapping. 5-yard penalty. Replay the down.
That's another penalty on South Alabama. Christopher Wallace Jr., the guy that is guilty of it, and that will give Louisiana a first down. I saw the delay of game.
Is a first down.
And I looked at the play clock. I said, wait a second.
Yeah, I was a little confused. So one of the things that's new this year, defense can't clap. They can shift side to side. They can't do kind of movements that'll draw the offense off, but they've given away all kinds of, the clapping is gone and the real abrupt noises at the defensive line of scrimmage.
Davis gets to about the 47-yard line. Again, solid gain on first down.
Well, you showed the graphic earlier, right? That they're averaging about 5 yards a clip on the ground, and they meet their average right about there.
By the way, that penalty on South Alabama, their 4th of the day, only one against Louisiana. And it's a good position to be in here at 2nd down and 5. Zylan Perry back in at running back. And it'll be Lunch taking it himself. A little spin move to get across the 45. Looked like he was going to be down right about the line of scrimmage, but falls forward for a gain of about 2. And it'll be 3rd down and 3.
Henry looks like he's got him just lined up, dialed in. And all of a sudden, Lunch just hits the spin move on him. And whoop, where did he go?
Lunch Winfield, just a redshirt sophomore. I'll tell you what, he's got to be a good one, especially the more he gets comfortable on the collegiate level. This guy's going to be very, very dangerous in the next couple of years. And he's got his team up 10-7 here. By himself in the backfield on third down. He'll take it himself. Designed run. Gets to the 40-yard line and another first down for Louisiana. Change move for the 9th time for this Louisiana offense.
Yeah, they put Kadarius Wade in motion right there, and when Lunch snaps the ball, that gets Wade as his lead blocker, and he does a good job of just kind of, he goes to kick out the end, but the end crashes, so Wade just rides him down. Once he does that, Lunch Winfield able to kind of get in his back pocket and make sure he picks up enough yards to get to the 40 and pick up that first down.
See Southpaw trying to rally the troops here as Louisiana's offense making some noise. There will be Zylan Perry. It doesn't get much. Ed Smith, the guy that got to him first. And it's a loss of 1. Brings up a second down and 11. Good penetration there by Smith.
Yeah, Smith, the big old boy right there in the front. 6'3", 296-pound redshirt senior.
Came into today with 20 tackles.
I just love those big guys wearing like 45. You know, back in the day, those guys were all 90s or, you know, but you know, you can put a 45 or a 0 on a guy, stick him in the middle of the line and let him go.
Second down and 11. Play fake, Lunch, right side, completion, but not much beyond that. Darius McKenzie, the guy that made the stop on Trey Miller. And that'll get back to about the original line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard pass. It'll be third down and 9.
Darius McKenzie with great coverage right there. He's got him coming out of the backfield. McKenzie does a good job of just seeing this play the whole way, getting up, and then making sure once he did get the catch, just riding him right to the sideline. Barely a yard gain with the nose of the ball on the 41.
Louisiana 4 for 5 on third down. They were stopped the last time they were in the third down situation. Let's see what they do here. Good protection across the middle. First down, completion. Great job by Lunch Winfield to get his open receiver. That's Jaden Johnson, who got in between the South Alabama coverage. And the chains continue to move as Louisiana now at the 25-yard line, and they're going to go tempo here.
Yeah, but the official holding them because they did swap one guy out, but Jaden Johnson with great concentration because it looked like he was going to get nailed.
Davis, room to run. Davis down to the 13-yard line, another first down, Louisiana.
Another nice job by that offensive line. You see big number 70, Jax Harrington right there leading the blocking. That young man, 6'4", 323, Pat. He's a load, and he does a good job of just kind of pushing everybody out of the way.
And again, not a lot of experience on this offensive line because of the sheer number of injuries they've dealt with since day 1 of the season. They've looked pretty solid today. First down inside the red zone at the 13-yard line. Once again, Winfield design run, this time a flag though, and it looks like it's going to be an illegal procedure.
Ball start. Offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
So we brag on the offensive line, and then
I was just glad it wasn't Jax because I was a little worried when he started 70, and I thought it may have been, but it was his running mate. Jax Harrington is right guard. That was the right tackle, Mackie Malo.
Mackie Malo is the guy that
Malo. Say it for me.
It is Mackie Malo.
Thank you.
That got the penalty. Only the second penalty against the Raging Cajuns.
I like to throw an extra constant in there and stretch it out as much as possible.
Still first down though. There's Zylan Perry. And Perry, right side, Zylan Perry will waltz into the end zone. Another Louisiana touchdown. And the Cajuns back up by 9 with the extra point pending.
Yeah, so what do you do when the guy gets a false start? You give him a chance to redeem himself, and they really do right there. That right side of that offensive line does a nice job of just creating that hole.
Zylan Perry with the rushing touchdown from 18 yards out. Makes it 16-7, and here comes Tony Sterner on to kick the extra point. Good snap, good hold, and it's right through the uprights. And the lead is back to 10. It's Louisiana 17, South Alabama 7 with 2 minutes 9 seconds to go in the half. The Raging Cajuns getting back into the end zone on the Zylan Perry run, and the Cajuns back up by double digits. Well, a 12-play, 75-yard drive by the Louisiana offense. They've had 3 drives, 3 scores, 2 touchdowns, been very multiple as well. They threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, and got a field goal as well, and they lead it 17-7. And now South Alabama will get the ball back. 2:09 to go. 3 timeouts to work with, though, for the South Alabama offense, so plenty of time for Major Applewhite and his crew to work down the field. But remember, Louisiana deferred to the second half, so the Cajuns will get the ball to start the third quarter.
And you're talking a balanced attack. 97 rush yards so far in this game, 98 passing.
Jags will return this one. There's Michael Woods, and Woods stood up at about the 15-yard line. And then thrown down, and the crowd wants the flag, and they're going to get it.
Well, it may be. We're going to see what they call here because they're pushing them back. Trying to catch the number on South, who kind of maybe got a late hit in there as well. So we'll see what the call is.
After the play, there are 2 fouls, 1 on each team. Number 45 of Louisiana, personal foul, and number 81 of the return team, personal foul. Those fouls will offset. It will be first down.
Yeah, they got Brett Long as that second one. He's kind of trying to help his guy out, but that late little chip right there is going to cost him 15. You'll see it is right here at the end of the play. Big hit, but they continue to drive back. And then you'll see Brett come in and just get a little bit of a
Oh, yeah.
right there at the end.
Right at the very end.
It doesn't help that there was a player on the ground and kind of flipped him over, and you do it right in front of the white hat. Never a good idea.
They've got good vision on it. Jags on the ground here on first down. That'll be Bullock. Gain of about 3, and that will take us to the 2-minute timeout. So the Jags,
2-minute
with a long
timeout.
way to go. 1 minute 57 seconds to go in the half. They do have 3 timeouts to work with. We'll see what they do when we get back to Mobile. It's the Cajuns on top by 10. South Alabama 81 yards away from the end zone. They got 3 timeouts, and 1:57 to work with on the clock. First 7 games of the season in terms of explosive plays, the Jags had 26 of them. Last week, though, in that first half against Georgia State, they had 4. And they had the 74-yard touchdown pass to Jeremy Scott included in that. They've had one explosive play today, and that was the toss to Anthony Eager that led to a touchdown. But they're going to need some explosives here or give Louisiana a chance to do something. They'll go right side. Not much there. Gets to the 21-yard line, and Dez on the other side will run down to the official. He'll call the timeout because Louisiana has their full complement of timeouts
Louisiana,
as well.
First of the half.
They'd
30
love
seconds
to get this
and
ball
wait.
back. I mean, if you punt from here, you're probably going to get it somewhere around the 40. So, you know, and as you go to break and all you say is, you know, you got a long way to go. In my head, all I hear is Jerry Reed say they got a long way to go in a short time to get there.
That's good.
I guess that's the difference between the, you know, where we are in life. You're over there dancing to the Fireball song that they're playing while they're throwing T-shirts to the student section. I'm over here singing Jerry Reed and Smokey and the Bandit
Please
songs.
stop the clock. Please stop the clock.
And now the officials
Jeremy
begging,
Parker.
please, somebody
Yes,
stop the clock.
Please stop the clock. Minute 52 is what it should be, and now it is back. But it's going to be third down now for South Alabama. They're 4 of 6 on third down today, but they got 3rd and 6, and you got to get a first down here because, again, Louisiana, 2 timeouts still to work with, and they get the ball to start the third quarter, and that's what Dez sees on the other sideline is there's a huge opportunity here to put South Alabama in a pretty big hole.
And 2 punts by South Alabama today have not been overly impressive, so you're really banking on getting some good field position if you get a stop right here.
Got to get to the 27-yard line. They'll go Kentrell Bullock, and it's thrown behind him, and it's incomplete. Not only does that force a 4th down, it stops the clock, and now a huge opportunity is a reality for Louisiana.
Yeah, they had a great play call and great setup too, because you had 2 offensive linemen, Wiggins out there as well, to block for Bullock, but Davenport just unable to get him the ball.
So Polkinen in to punt.
Polkinen will be looking back into that sun, though, as you kind of see that shadow right behind him.
Robert Williams will set up at his 38-yard line. Let's see if Polkinen can get a good leg into it. Not a great punt here either. And fielded on the hop at the 38-yard line. Williams trying to get to the 50, and that's going to be a late hit.
You just chuck on 15 more, so you're, instead of getting the ball right between the 45 and 50, you're going to get the ball all the way down somewhere around the 37 probably. We'll see. They're still kind of shaking everything out over there. That's just one of those things that in your head you got to, I mean, you just can't make that hit. You just can't do it.
Darius McKenzie was the guy that Williams was clearly out of bounds, and McKenzie wanted to make a big hit, and he did, but well after he should have.
Yeah, you could hear that hit from up here, even with headphones on. You could hear the collision, but it's just not the place to do it. It's going to cost your team 15 yards, and like you said, you got a minute 36 left. You're going to see it right here, clearly out of bounds.
During the return, personal foul, block out of bounds, return team, number 11. After the play, personal foul on the kicking team. But those fouls will be assessed. It will be first down.
Boys.
That makes sense because I didn't see the initial flag, and I was wondering what was taking so long to come up with that penalty. But they'll assess both penalties, the block in the back and the late hit. And again, if you're Major Applewhite, you look at it, you know, you're going to push him back with that penalty without that penalty at the end of the play.
Yeah, so they're going to get about a net 5 out of this deal right here, I would think. So push them across midfield.
Let's see where the
Let's see where the block it's a spot foul.
It's a spot foul, yeah.
If it happened, way back there. Let's see.
So they say the spot foul and the block in the back was at the 37-yard line. So if my math is right, it'll be, well, that's actually where they're going to, once they assess the penalty and come back the other way, it'll be the 37-yard line. Still good field position, though, for Lunch Winfield and the Ragin' Cajuns, who have scored on every possession so far today. touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And they got 1:36 to work with and 2 timeouts.
And they get the ball to start the second half. So a little 2-for-1 right here is what the Raging Cajuns are looking for. Boy, South really got bailed out on that extra flag right there.
And you're not in a situation where this has to be a pass here. So Zylan Perry still a threat to run the football, and Lunch Winfield always a threat back there as a Louisiana quarterback. And it'll be Lunch rolling right side, looking for his receiver. He's got it. Good pitch and catch. And once again, Shelton Sampson is on the receiving end.
Boy, he missed Strother, though. Landon Strother.
Illegal motion, offense. 2 men moving at the same time. Number 23 and number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You talk about getting bailed out.
Yeah.
That was a big play for Louisiana that put them in South Alabama territory, but the penalty will knock them back. But how big has Shelton Sampson Jr. been back in the lineup for Louisiana? Here's a guy that's been struggling with pinky injuries on each hand, actually. Missed 3 games, but came back last week. 5 catches for 74 yards, and so far today, he's been one of the go-to guys. 3 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown.
Probably any other position you can live with that injury, but as a receiver, that's your hands and your moneymaker. Nice little pitch and catch right there, though.
Yeah, first down and 15, no problem, because Robert Williams is there, and Lunch will float it into him and still get into South Alabama territory, and the Cajuns are moving again.
And more importantly, don't have to burn any timeouts. Just a nice little play to the sideline. You pick up the first down, preserve that timeout. Just too much of a cushion right there. And he gets behind the cornerback in that zone. Safety a little late over the top for help, and Lunch drops it right in there.
2 receivers either way. Lunch by himself, and it is a designed draw for Lunch Winfield. And he'll get to the 42-yard line. No need necessarily to call the timeout here, but it looks like Louisiana will. And that will leave them with 1 as Lunch Winfield really making the case for himself. You know, there's a lot of people saying, yeah, I can run the football. I'm a good runner. And by the way, I can throw the football.
Louisiana, second charge of the half. Please put 1:19, 1:19 on the clock, please.
Lunch saying I can throw okay as well.
Yeah, 7 of 7, 98 yards. Has that 1 touchdown. I mean, I've been really impressed with that young man because, like you said, the book on him is, you know, he's going to hurt you with his feet. He's going to hurt you with his feet. Well, boy, he's hurting South Alabama with his arm today. I mean, and it doesn't hurt at all that Sampson Jr. is also having a great game and has made some really nice catches for him as well. But he's putting the ball only where his receiver can get him a couple times to Sampson, and Sampson's been able to go up and get him for him. And South Alabama with a lot of cushion right there on that last play, and he does a good job of just patiently letting his player clear the zone, get behind that cornerback and in front of the safety, and drops it right into him. I've been really impressed with the play at Lunch Winfield so far today.
Can't do better than 7 for 7. And let's see what he does here on 2nd and 5. Got to get to the 36-yard line to move the sticks again. And they'll go to the ground game. Perry tripped up at about the line of scrimmage, maybe gets 1. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 4 at the 40-yard line. No need to be in a hurry here because you still have 1 timeout to work with as the clock winding down to the 1-minute mark.
Which, if you're going at this pace right here, kind of makes me question why do you call the timeout on the last play?
Now, I would say you got to start having some urgency now.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would have taken this much time.
I mean, the play clock's all the way down. It looks like they're going to wait for the play clock to go down and then use that second timeout.
Well,
not real sure.
So the play clock at 3, actually 4, and that's where they'll stop it. And it is timeout Louisiana. Might would have run a play there. Try to get up there and do it pretty quickly, but you've got a 3rd and 4, and it is an important play here.
Louisiana, 3rd and final, 30 seconds in length.
But Coach Des deciding to call the timeout. Meantime, Major Applewhite's got to find some answers on both sides of the football. it's been Louisiana offensively scoring on every possession. And the Jags offense put it into the end zone once, but they've had to punt it a couple of times as well.
Yes, I mean, you start looking at those stats, 103 yards rushing, 121 yards, still a really balanced attack that we're seeing from the Raging Cajuns. 224 yards total yards so far this first half to 135 for South Alabama. And I mean, you know, and you look at the first downs as well, 14-8. I mean, it's such a big difference in the discrepancy in time of possession. I mean, South really kind of lucky that it's 17 to 7 and not more, just of how impressive this Louisiana Raging Cajun offense has been so far today.
And you mentioned it, almost 100 yards more for the Cajuns offensively than South. They got to get to the 36 here to move the sticks again. It's 3rd down and 4. Winfield, all the time in the world. Now flush to his right, trying to get a receiver to go down, throws it up, and Sampson comes back to get it. Well, it was a duck because Lunch Winfield was hit as he threw it, but it was Sampson very alertly coming back to the football. And now he'll spike it. Now, I'm not sure about the clock, though. I thought the clock should have stopped on the first down. It didn't seem to. 17 seconds is where we are. I don't know if they'll revisit that, but it was Winfield kind of improvising as he went to the right side and then gave the all-go signal.
Yeah, here comes Blaine Myrick. Gets a hit on him. That doesn't let him get everything he wants into the pass, and he just threw into traffic, and somehow Sampson bails him out.
Good enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get the announcer's curse. He's now 8 for 8. He doesn't end at 7-7 on a bad throw.
2nd down inside the red zone. Winfield throwing for the end zone. Receiver makes the adjustment. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Louisiana. And guess who? It's Shelton Sampson Jr. Have a day, young man.
This is one of the best adjustments you'll see, Pat. I mean, it is amazing because he is running, and the defender's on him pretty good, but the defender's looking straight towards the pylon to see if the ball's coming over his shoulder, and all of a sudden Sampson Jr. just puts the brakes on, lays it down, and that ball falls right into his hands. Great adjustment right there by Shelton Sampson Jr.
Sampson, the Baton Rouge native, signed with LSU out of high school. 11 games there, did get 1 start with the Tigers. Came out of Catholic of Baton Rouge. He was their #1 receiver, receiving yards and touchdowns at Catholic. And then when he wasn't getting the playing time he wanted at LSU, transfers to Louisiana, battling injury. And now he's back at full strength, to South Alabama's detriment, because he's got 2 touchdowns so far today. Now they're going to review this when they review every play, obviously, but especially into any of the scoring plays. Going to review it to make sure he got it. And that's the holdup here on the extra point. Now they get the all clear. Yes, that was indeed a touchdown, and it's 23-7 pending the extra point. And here comes Tony Sterner again. He's been a busy man.
Wasn't sure if that was the all clear or everybody ropes, everybody rides. I was wondering where we were going there.
Extra point is good. And that's 4 drives, 4 scores for the Cajuns, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And with 11 seconds left, Cajuns are in control in Mobile. And that's under pressure too. That was Lunch Winfield having some pressure coming at him. Nehemiah Chandler was the guy that was in coverage, but that adjustment again by Sampson to come back to the football as Chandler went sliding out of the play. And, you know, if you're Lunch Winfield and you've got a receiver like that, you don't have to have the dart. The dart's great, but put it in the vicinity somewhere. Let him make an adjustment, and that's what Sampson's done so far.
Yeah, and my gut feeling says on that kind of just a little bit of a not a lengthy review, but just a little more than just run out and kick the extra point. They're really kind of making sure that when Sampson went to slide, his feet didn't go out of the back of the end zone. Right. And he does a really good job of just kind of controlling his body, making sure he got underneath the ball and kept his feet in bounds before that ball was, you know, just I've been so impressed with that young man today, and just his ability to adjust and come back to balls and just some one-handed catches, and that last one really impressive.
And the kick will bound into the end zone. So the Jags will have it at the 25-yard line. Just 11 seconds to work with. They do have all 3 of their timeouts should they try to press the issue here. But my guess is they may just kneel it and try to get to the locker room and make some adjustments.
Yeah, because the Raging Cajuns are probably going to have somebody 30, 40 yards deep, maybe just to make sure that if anything does happen, they keep it in front of them. But my gut says that South Alabama, if not just a simple handoff, a knee, and let's go regroup and see what changes we need to make.
Well, the argument can be made is what more could go wrong here, but they will put it on the ground to Keenan Phillips, who gets about a yard, and that should take us to halftime, and the Jags sprinting to the locker room. But boy, this first half has belonged to the Raging Cajuns. They come into Mobile, and they've got a 24-7 lead. It's halftime at Hancock Whitney Stadium. We'll have some halftime festivities for you, recap the scoring and the stats in just a little while.
Sometimes you just have to get outside and play, and we have just the place for you to do that. The outdoor pool at the rec center is just like a resort. It's a zero-entry pool with a hot tub, volleyball nets, basketball goals, water polo goals, a vortex, and a deep water well. It has a shallow area too, perfect for sunbathing. The large pool deck has swings, tables with chairs, hammocks, and lounge chairs.
If you're into disc golf, there's an awesome course located on Aubrey Green Drive near the maintenance garage. Just grab some friends and head for hole number 1, but do it before sunset as the course is closed after dark. Looking for outdoor fitness? The Jaguar Fitness Trail is a 1.5-mile loop on the north side of campus with a gravel path and fitness stations in 3 different locations along the trail.
The Glen Sebastian Nature Trail includes over 3 miles of paths winding through 95 acres of native pine and oak woodlands. Back behind the Jaguar Training Center, you'll find 45 acres of mountain biking trails. Maintained by the South Alabama and Mississippi Mountain Bike Association, the trails provide a place for off-road riding without ever leaving campus.
South is located in Mobile, Alabama, a city of about 190,000 people located on the Gulf of Mexico. Downtown Mobile is 9 miles from campus and has a vibrant arts and entertainment district with museums, art galleries, shops, restaurants, bars, and live music. Annual events include Mardi Gras and the Reese's Senior Bowl All-Star football game played on campus at Hancock Whitney Stadium.
If you're downtown and travel east, it's not hard to find the water. Mobile is a port city and sits on the Mobile River, which empties into Mobile Bay and ultimately the Gulf of Mexico. Take the tunnel under the river to the causeway, where you will find attractions like the battleship USS Alabama and submarine USS Drum, as well as Five Rivers Alabama Delta Resource Center. Here, you can learn about the biodiversity in our area and explore the rivers by kayak. There are also some great seafood restaurants overlooking the bay and the river delta.
If you'd rather chill with your toes in the sand, you don't have to travel far to our beautiful beaches. If you head west on I-10, down the west side of the bay, you'll reach Dauphin Island, a barrier island on the Gulf of Mexico. The Dauphin Island Sea Lab is located here, which is where marine science majors at South do research. If you're into history, you might be interested in touring Fort Gaines, best known for its role in the Battle of Mobile Bay during the Civil War. What's even better about Dauphin Island, it's only 45 minutes from campus.
Travel east on I-10 to the eastern shore of the bay and you'll find Fairhope, an artsy community with shops, restaurants, and spectacular views of Mobile Bay. But if you keep driving east, you'll reach Gulf Shores, 8 miles of sandy beaches and home to the annual Hangout Music Festival held in May. And one last thing you should know about Mobile. Out of 365 days, we average 220 days of sunshine, making just about every day a good day to see the sights.
It is homecoming on the South Alabama campus, but it has been all Louisiana as far as the football game is concerned. The Ragin' Cajuns on top of the Jags 24-7. Pat Greenwood alongside Brian Gennard. Both of these teams have struggled throughout the season, but this is the Louisiana team we thought we would see in the preseason. They were picked to win the Sun Belt West.
Yeah, they're clicking on all cylinders today. I mean, the pass game's been perfect, and it's complemented with that run game. They can do no wrong in that first half.
Let's take a look at those first half highlights and show you that they can do no wrong. Lunch Winfield looking for Shelton Sampson Jr. on the first drive, 25-yard pass, and it's 7-0 Cajuns. Dalton Hughes for South Alabama gets the sack. That forces a field goal, makes it 10-0 Cajuns. The Jags do strike back here. Keenan Phillips, 15 yards off the right side, makes it 10-7, but then the Cajuns with back-to-back touchdowns. Zylan Perry from 18 yards out, and then the great adjustment sliding catch by Shelton Sampson Jr. 5 catches, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and it's 24-7 Cajuns.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun to watch that young man operate. Lunch has just found him all day long, but if you take a look at these stats, both clean on turnovers, but for South, almost doubled up in every category. 161 passing yards to 76, 103 on the ground for the Ragin' Cajuns, only 60 for South, 264 to 136. It's been all Louisiana in this first half.
And the Cajuns will get the ball to start the second half, and we'll have it for you at Hancock Whitney Stadium next on ESPN+. We're not too far away from starting the third quarter, as Louisiana has had a day today, up 24-7 on South Alabama, and Lunch Winfield has done a great job. Zylan Perry with a touchdown there, but Lunch Winfield through the air has been perfect. Here's the musical chairs that Louisiana's had at that quarterback position this season. Daniel Beal has seen some action. You see Walker Howard, who actually threw a pass last week against Troy. But now that Lunch Winfield is healthy and rolling, and today a mere 10 of 10, I would say the guy on the left is your guy.
Yeah, it took him a little while to get there, but they got there, and boy, he is taking advantage of the opportunity that has been given. 121% quarterback efficiency, pretty strong, and 10 for 10 today. Sampson just been lights out for him as well. He's been targeted 5 times. He had 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. I mean, they have been fun to watch so far. And that offensive line, I know they've had a lot of problems and a lot of injuries, but boy, they've been clicking on all cylinders as well. And we're not going to have to wait long to see Lunch again, as they should be taking over this ball here momentarily as we get this second half kicked off.
Yeah, the Ragin' Cajuns will get it. They won the toss, deferred. So you saw a shot of Robert Williams. He'll field the kick from Hamilton to Boyan, and there's Lunch on the sidelines, getting ready to eat again. He's from Lutcher, Louisiana, led Lutcher to a state title with some gaudy numbers. And there's a fair catch made at about the 4-yard line. So as most drives have been, in fact, 3 of their 4 drives, Louisiana will start at the 25-yard line.
I miss the old days of kickoff return.
Yeah. You don't see many anymore.
No, you don't, and I
understand why.
No, I get it for player safety and all that fun stuff. The one thing that does kind of kill me, though, I'd love to see him get away from it like the NFL does, is that you can't just stick your arms out in a T formation and run away from the ball. You know, if that ball's bouncing around in the end zone, somebody better get on it and make it a touchback and not just a live ball. But I think those days are gone, and you get to show your age when you start having those conversations.
Well, let's see if the Jags defense has made some adjustments. They have not been able to stop Louisiana so far today. There's Lunch, now 11 for 11. Good pitch and catch to Brock Chappell, the junior from North Carolina. He's a transfer from Furman, and this is a Louisiana roster. You know, a lot of rosters these days are built by transfer. Dez has done a good job of building guys and keeping guys in the program. Although Chappell is one of the transfers coming from Furman, makes the catch, good for a gain of about 9. It's 2nd down and 1. And they'll give it to Perry, right side, 1st down and then some. Zylan Perry running over Wesley Miller, gets it across the 40 to the 41, 1st down Louisiana. And the Ragin' Cajuns now have 16 first downs.
And just a hard run right there by Perry. Like you said, he wasn't taking the blow that one. He was delivering it at the end of the run right there.
So the Cajuns will set up shop at the 41-yard line. It'll be Lunch across the middle, one-on-one coverage to who else? Shelton Sampson Jr., another catch as he gets into South Alabama territory at the 40-yard line. It's a gain of about 20 and another Louisiana 1st down.
Yeah, it's just a tall task to ask for Nehemiah Chandler back there one-on-one. I mean, even if you play him on the inside, then you got the go route, but you're playing that outside shoulder. He goes down about 6-7 yards, puts his foot in the ground, cuts it back across the middle. And Lunch Winfield does a nice job of finding him, staying perfect on the day.
1st down and 10, another successful drive so far as Perry will flip it. Now they go back to Lunch, pressure from the backside. Doesn't matter, in a wide open Chappell makes a move and stumbling his way inside the 10 to about the 5-yard line. Brock Chappell on a little razzle-dazzle.
Yeah, the defender goes with Strother on the long route. I think that's where he really wanted to go, but he doesn't have it, so he checks down to Chappell.
Give to Perry, right side. Not much there as he's backed up. Blaine Myrick among the South Alabama defenders that get him. And is there a flag late? Yes, there is.
Yeah, there is. Just no need for the shove right there at the end, but that's what they get, and it's going to cost South Alabama half the distance
to the play.
goal.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 96 defense. half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's Dominic Wiseman. And you see the frustration built up in South Alabama. And that's nothing more than a frustration penalty there, as they had already stopped Zylan Perry's progress. And no need for the push, but another penalty on South Alabama. So automatic first downs, first and goal, as Bill Davis now the setback. It'll be Davis. Stood up at the goal line, doesn't get in, stopped at the 1. Christopher Wallace Jr., the guy that got him down low, and it's second and goal. Stephen Johnson checking back in. Here comes Cole Blaylock. So a lot of substitutions for South Alabama here. R.J. Moss Jr. also coming back in, and Dominic Wiseman also returning to the lineup. Second and goal at the 1. Davis to the left of Winfield, who will take it himself and launch Winfield into the end zone. Touchdown rushing by Lunch Winfield, and it's 30-7 Cajuns.
And nothing fancy. He's just looking to see where his blocking's getting some penetration, and that was over there on the left-hand side of that offensive line. And Lunch just gets the ball across the line. He's hit by R.J. Moss and Myrick as he does, but not until he did cross the plane right there for the Ragin' Cajuns.
A small smattering of Ragin' Cajun fans. They're having the time of their life. Meantime, South Alabama way offside. The extra point is good, as the defender actually ran through the kick. He was so far offside.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before. You passed the kicker.
And we'll see. I don't know if this is tacked on to the kick.
The point after is good. Offside defense, penalties decline.
So there you go. So touchdown Louisiana. They've scored on every drive they've touched the football. 11 minutes, 58 seconds to go, third quarter. Cajuns rolling in Mobile, 31-7. Eligibility. This is the last Lending Tree Bowl at Ladd Peoples Stadium back in 2019. Billy Napier led the Ragin' Cajuns over Miami, Ohio, and then the bowl switched to Hancock Whitney Stadium. Then 2023, South Alabama beat Eastern Michigan here in this very stadium. Used to be at Ladd Peoples Stadium, and now it is in Hancock Whitney. It used to be the Lending Tree Bowl. It's been the Dollar General Bowl. It's been the GMAC Bowl. Then the Mobile, Alabama Bowl, actually, when it started, but now the 68 Ventures Bowl. And both of these teams have experienced it. And right now, it is Louisiana having the time of their life here at Hancock Whitney Stadium. They have controlled this one from the start. Micah Woods will go into the end zone, let it go over his head. And we'll see what the South Alabama offense can do after Louisiana scored on a 7-play, 75-yard drive to go up 31-7.
I think my favorite memory of that bowl game is, remember when Leftwich played?
It was the third bowl game. It was East Carolina and Marshall that went to double overtime. In fact, it was a 30-point deficit that Marshall overcame, and all they had to do was kick the extra point at the end of the ball game to end it, and they missed it.
Yeah, but Leftwich they were almost picking him up and running him to the line of scrimmage. It was an incredible bowl game. And cold from Mobile, Alabama.
There's Jeremy Scott across the middle. Good bullet there from Bishop Davenport to move the chains. First down, South Alabama.
They need some of those. They need some of those little confidence boosters right there. Just a nice little in route. Does a good job, and a really well thrown ball right there as well.
Bishop to the air again, and that one is knocked out of the air. Good defense by Louisiana. That's Cortland Flowers, the redshirt senior from Dallas. He was in coverage with Devin Voisin, and Flowers makes the play.
Boy,
and second and 10.
Yeah, Terrence Williams' eyes got big because he thought that ball was going to hang just a hair longer, and well, Terrence was coming after it, but just unable to get all the way out there. Is great knock away right there for the Raging Cajuns.
Second and 10 at the 37-yard line. There's Bishop Davenport calling it himself. He'll get to the 40, maybe the 41-yard line. Be a pickup of about 4. Bring up a 3rd and 6. But if you're South Alabama, this is go territory, period. I would think. Down 31-7, unless you get in just some ridiculous 3rd and long or 4th and long. So you've got to have that mentality that it's 3rd and 6. You got 2 plays to make it. You got to get to the 47-yard line. Jags 4 of 7 on 3rd downs today. Cajuns showing blitz right up the A gap. One will back off. And the pitch and catch is made short of the first down. Trent Thomas. We talked about Tyler Thomas, his twin, making a play earlier on defense. And there's Trent with the catch. And it's 4th down. And my goodness, are those Jags fans up at the top of the stadium? 4th down. Bullock has the first down. Kentrell Bullock fighting his way to midfield. First down, South Alabama. They convert on 4th down.
You see big Ethan Hubbard kind of leading the way from that offensive line. 6'6", 310. Redshirt sophomore. He kind of got the push right there, and Kentrell Bullock got in his back pocket, picked up that first down right at midfield.
Receiver in motion is Jeremy Scott. It's Bullock making a move, then cutting back up the middle. He'll get 3 down to the 47-yard line. 2nd down and 7.
He's got such great patience right there. I mean, just, he's looking around. He really wanted to kick that ball out to the left. Doesn't see it, but does see that little seam back in the middle. So he puts his foot in the ground and cuts it back to make something positive out of that play for South Alabama.
13 carries for 38 yards for Kentrell. And now Bullock to air it out. Under some pressure, dumps it down to Kentrell. And he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 7. Good coverage number 1 by Louisiana downfield as Bishop had nowhere to go. And then once Kentrell peeled away, it was a good job by Louisiana to close that gap. Brent Gordon Jr. there on the stop to force the 3rd down.
Yeah, if you're Davenport, that little clock in your head's got to be ticking, and you're at some point got to say, okay, I either got to eat this, take off running. But Kentrell Bullock does a nice job of stopping with the block and then getting himself out into the flat.
And once again, the swing pass incomplete, although there's a flag that comes in late. Bishop Davenport was on a knee. I didn't see if he got hit late.
I think you are going to have a late hit right here on.
But that's where the flag certainly in that vicinity. See what Jeremy Parker, the head official, has to say.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Cameron Whitfield, the guilty party, and that's again another situation that just didn't need to happen. Haven't seen that too often today from Louisiana, but Coach Dez won't be happy about that. He gives South Alabama 15 yards and continues the drive, and the Jags desperately in need of points. Now they're at the 32-yard line of Louisiana.
Tell you what Coach is happy about. Somebody remembered to pack his sunglasses and bring them, because he's looking dead into it right now as he got that shot of him on the sideline right there.
Anthony Eager is the man in motion as Bullock goes left side this time, held up at the line, still gets positive yardage close to the 25-yard line. That's just sheer will for Kentrell to bring up a second down.
Yeah, I think he's hobbled a little bit.
He hasn't been healthy.
Yeah.
And with P.J. Martin, his backup, P.J. is a standout from New Orleans, De La Salle High School. He's out. So we'll see a lot of Keenan Phillips, and now the shirtless wonders here at Hancock Whitney Stadium trying to get something rolling for the Jags.
They're gathering over in section 231 up in the corner of the end zone behind the few Raging Cajun fans that have congregated here on the lower level.
Across the middle, too strong for Devin Voisin. Good coverage by Cortland Flowers in that one-on-one situation. And the incompletion brings up a third down.
Yeah, that ball's a little high, but boy, it's one. Especially, we've seen Voisin make some of those plays this year, you know, especially earlier in the season. As you see the replay right here, is great coverage. Yeah, it would have been a heck of a catch.
Yeah, just beyond his reach.
Yeah.
Now Bishop takes it himself. He's got a lane. Bishop Davenport diving for the pylon, will be pushed out of bounds, but first down inside the 10-yard line for South Alabama. The offense threatening to push one in here.
Watch your running back right there, and Phillips. Keenan Phillips he's the lead blocker on this one, and he gets the key block that really, you see him come through the hole. They fake it to him. Watch him kick out right there, just enough to get Davenport free.
So the line of scrimmage is the 8-yard line, and there's Phillips. Wow, somehow squirted through to get to the 3. I thought he was stood up at the line of scrimmage, but Keenan Phillips gets inside the 5-yard line. They'll say actually the 4 is where he stopped. It'll be second down and goal.
One thing that South Alabama likes to do, they use that tight end in that slot position and bring him in motion, and usually he's the kick out block, and they got a nice kick out right there by Gibbs.
Davenport into the end zone, touchdown South Alabama. Follows Keenan Phillips into the end zone, and the fans up in the top half of the stadium like it. Maybe that'll turn the tide for South Alabama. Who knows?
And they're getting some, they got more folks streaming that way to come help them out. We'll see what happens, but that's a nice answer by South Alabama. You give up that long drive, you give it the points late, then you give up the opening drive of the second half, and you know that tells you this is a team that's not rolling over at 31-7. They go right down the field and score, tack on that extra point right there, and 31-14.
Davis Little knocks it through, and that'll take us to a timeout. 6 minutes 54 seconds to go. The Jags respond on their first drive of the second half. It's 31-14. Cajuns with the lead, and they'll get the ball back after this. 5 guys, and now it's grown to, what is that, maybe 20 or 30 guys waving their shirts up at the top of Hancock Whitney Stadium
now, and they're still going.
This started at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, by the way, one of the many programs looking for a head coach. Billy Napier, the former Ragin' Cajun head coach, is out at Florida. But I don't know. Maybe that'll bring the mojo back to South Alabama. The Jags finally scored to make it 31-14, but defensively, they got to find an answer. They haven't had one yet for this Louisiana offense.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. You see those clips on social media at Oklahoma State. It started with about 6-7 guys, and before it was all over, they had a whole entire section in the upper deck going, and kick out of bounds right there by South. I mean, God, that just kills you. You get great momentum. You go down and you score, and then now you're going to
free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, number 36. Ball will be placed 35-yard line. First down.
Now let's talk Lunch Winfield. 13 for 13 today. In Louisiana history, Terrence Broadway started 14 of 14 against Nevada when the Ragin' Cajuns played in the New Orleans Bowl. Chandler Fields completed his last 15 passes in 2023. That was the regular season finale against ULM. But Lunch, so far 13 for 13, 224 yards, 2 touchdown passes. And oh, by the way, he can run. 9 carries, 34 yards, and a touchdown.
Not a bad day.
Not a bad day.
Not a bad day. And you still have 6 minutes and 54 seconds left in the third quarter and the whole fourth quarter to go as well.
So first down and 10 at the 35-yard line as they'll hand off and get a good 4 or 5 yards from Bill Davis. His 7th carry push him to about the 30-yard mark on the afternoon. We'll officially give him 5.
And they're right about on average. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast. They average about 4.5 yards per carry. Looking at halftime, they were right around the 4.1, 4.2, and a 5-yard run right there on first down.
So 2nd and 5 at the 40-yard line. Davis once again the back. And he'll get the call again and rumble his way across the 45 to the 46-yard line. First down, Louisiana. That's the 20th first down for this Louisiana offense. The Jags just haven't had an answer. Louisiana's had their way offensively.
It just seemed like a really slow developing running play if there was a thing, but great patience right there. Good, and does a nice job to kind of wait for that end to get sealed over there on the right-hand side, and picks up the first down.
Keep it on the ground. There's Davis making a move across the 50 and down to about the 45-yard line. That was about a pickup of 8, maybe 9, depending on where they spot it. But you talk about staying on schedule and having some very manageable second down plays. That's what Louisiana's done all afternoon.
Boy, what just a great cut right there, because it looks like somebody had him lined up dead to the rights around the 50-yard line, and just does a really nice job of making a man miss and cutting it back in the middle and finding a little space. And you can live with these second and shorts if you're Louisiana.
They'll officially call it 2nd down and 2. Now a whistle and a flag. They back him up just a bit. It's like an illegal
false start.
False start.
Offense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Cooper Fordham is the guilty party there.
Yeah, so they are right on track, Pat, where their average is. The 31 rushes for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 4.3 yards a carry right now for Louisiana.
And they are just shy of 8 yards per play. This Ragin' Cajun offense has rolled today. 356 yards of total offense so far. Penalty backs them up to their own 49-yard line. Makes it 2nd and 7. Quarterback right, and nothing doing. Good penetration by Darius McKenzie, the redshirt senior linebacker from Ottawa. He's a transfer from Maine.
Not Etowah, Alabama,
nope,
but Ottawa.
Not Etowah, Alabama. Ottawa, Ontario. That's correct. That's correct, eh? Darius McKenzie started the final 8 games last year and was 3rd on the team in tackles. Came into today with 48. Now the Jags have not stopped Louisiana, period, from scoring. We'll see if they can do it here on third down. Lunch winding up, looking for his big-time receiver. Incomplete. He was going for Shelton Sampson Jr. There's a lot of contact, but nothing called, as Brian Dillard was the guy in coverage.
Yeah. I thought Dillard got away with one right there.
Well, the Jags will take it, though, and so for the first time today, we'll see a punt coming from Louisiana.
Hey, that young man came out early at halftime to warm up. It's like, yeah, he better warm up. He hadn't kicked the ball in 2 hours since warm-ups before the game.
Nathan Torney averages just under 43 yards a punt. And this one will bounce into the end zone and give South Alabama offensively the football at the 25-yard line when we get back. The Jags not going away yet. It's 31-14, and they have the football in Mobile. You gotta love this shirtless section that organically started growing, and then the father gets his son, says, you know what, taking your shirt off too, let's see if it makes a difference.
Did you see him take his phone out of his pocket? His wife's at home like, honey, I'm gonna take the kids to the game. We're gonna have a low-key afternoon. She's like, they just came back from break, and there you are with my child in the shirtless section.
Well, it worked offensively for South Alabama last time. They were able to put a touchdown on the board and stop Louisiana for the first time and make them punt. So the Jags have it at the 20-yard line. Just under 4 minutes to go, third period. Pass is incomplete, as Davenport is going for Devin Voisin. Couldn't connect, and it brings up a second down and 10.
Yeah, that one, the last one was on Davenport. I think that one's on Voisin. He did have to go down for that ball, but probably a catch that he should have made right there.
Bishop 13 for 23, 94 yards on the afternoon. We'll get a chance to throw it again. Going downfield, incomplete. Once again going for Voisin, but led him just a little too much. And back-to-back incompletions brings up a third and 10.
Yeah, he's got Voisin open. Voisin's able to clear those linebackers, get in front of the safety. You'll see him come open late. It's a slow developing play, but he has him and just unable to connect.
About 3 feet to the left. That's a first down and then some. Instead, Jags facing a 3rd and 10 at their own 20. Louisiana showing some pressure from the safeties, but now we'll back out of it. Now they're showing pressure again. And here they come, pressure from the left side. He'll throw right, and he's got Micah Woods spotted up at the 35, falls forward to the 37, first down, South Alabama.
That's just a great route right there. You got zone coverage, and he goes up and just kind of curls up right in the soft spot of that zone. You'll see right there in front of the safeties, away from the corner. And Davenport that time zips the ball in. First down, South Alabama.
Phillips still the running back, and he'll get the call. And Keenan Phillips across the 45 to the 46-yard line. That's a gain of 9 on first down. It's 2nd and 1.
Yeah, we saw Kentrell Bullock go out, so you wonder if we'll see him again this game. But Keenan Phillips does a really nice job. We saw him a couple of nice runs on the last drive and a huge block that really kind of freed Davenport on a run, and a really nice first down run right there by Phillips.
They'll give it to Keenan again, makes a move. Keenan Phillips across the 45, still going, and bulls his way to the 42-yard line. Keenan, the sophomore from Bainbridge, Georgia, transferred from Georgia Military. Second team All-American, coming in here with 19 rushing touchdowns. And a big-time rusher for Bainbridge High School.
Boy, Jackson looks like he has him. The safety comes up, and Phillips was a nice little, just kind of little shoulder shake and away from him.
So the Jags now in Cajun territory, 1st and 10. Phillips again makes a man miss. Then running hard across the 35 to the 32-yard line. Keenan Phillips, that's another gain of 9. That's 6 carries, 49 yards so far for Keenan, and has his first collegiate touchdown that happened in the first half.
Run like that's what fires up an offensive line and your team on the sideline as well.
Now Bishop one-on-one, looking for his receiver Micah Woods. Can't connect. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 1. I like the play call, though. You had a one-on-one situation down near the goal line, and why not throw it up?
Boy, Woods almost made the adjustment to be able to come back and get that ball, but nice coverage as well for the Raging Cajuns. I mean, it was tight coverage, but the way you're running like that, you make that adjustment. We've seen Sampson do it several times today for Louisiana, but ooh.
Oh my goodness. Jaden Duggar came in on the blitz, anticipating the handoff to Keenan Phillips, and good anticipation, young man. The senior transfer from Georgetown makes the tackle. Came in as the leading tackler with 73, and that's a loss of 3, brings up 4th and 4. And he just came from that linebacker spot, split the middle, and knew exactly where South was trying to go. So 4th down and 4. Jags going for it. Again, we're seeing pressure up front. We'll see if Louisiana brings it or backs out of it. And here they come. They're coming after Bishop Davenport. They got him by the ankles, and Davenport down at the 40-yard line. And that's a turnover on downs. Tyree Skipper was the guy that caught the ankle. If you don't catch the ankle, Bishop's got the first down and then some. But they brought a ton of pressure, and Skipper was able to just get the shoelaces.
Boy, what an athletic play there by Tyree Skipper as well, because he almost gets knocked off by his own guy. Dove for Davenport and missed him, so Skipper kind of had to avoid friendly fire as well as he reaches out and grabs that shoestring.
So that'll give Louisiana the ball at their own 39-yard line. They had to punt last time. It was the first time that the Cajuns hadn't scored on an offensive possession. Perry, the running back, he gets the call right up the middle. Meets Tyrell Johnson in the hole, but a gain of 4, and once again staying on
Ruling
schedule.
on the field as the ball carries down. 2nd down.
The ball popped out late. You see a scramble right around the
Forward
logo.
progress will stop.
The official quick to say that the runner had been ruled down.
About a 2-second differential between the play clock and the game clock, so Louisiana will have to run a play here. 2nd down and 6 at their own 43-yard line. Winfield takes it himself and is stood up and pushed back. Parker Shattuck, the guy that got him right at the 45-yard line, and that will bring the third quarter to a close.
Into the third quarter.
So each team scores a touchdown in the third quarter, and we'll go to the fourth with a 31-14 spread. Louisiana in control, and they have the football when we get back. Well, the Raging Cajuns out rushing, or total offense out gaining South Alabama 362 to 237 as we start the fourth quarter, and the Cajuns have the football on a 3rd down and 4 at their own 45-yard line. So if there's going to be a push by South Alabama, better start making some stops right here. They did it last Louisiana offensive drive. We'll see if they can do it here on a 3rd and 4. It's Winfield, little dump pass. Catch is made, and sliding down at about the 47, and that's a 1st down, is Trey Miller, who's slow to get up.
Yeah, South bringing the pressure right there. You see
Official
Blaine
timeout
Myrick, and
for an injury.
I think it was also Johnson on the blitz right through the middle, unable to get to lunch, and he finds his receiver just kind of drifting out into the flats.
So while they tend to the injured Trey Miller, we'll step aside. Back to Mobile after this. there's RBT, a YouTube creator, content creator, a lot of sports gaming content on YouTube. Back in the end zone, enjoying this one. As Louisiana just converted another first down, 14:46 to go. And that is 21 first downs for this Louisiana offense.
Watching him sign autographs during the break.
You're a big RBT guy.
Oh, you know, he taught me that, you know, if you hit that X button enough times, that guy will spin around and.
I thought it was the circle button. It's been a while since I've played video games.
There he goes. Look, they know who he is. You know what? Judging by their age and their enthusiasm, we may be not in his demographic.
Yeah, we're not the target audience there.
That's right.
I don't believe.
You and I are more the shirt guys up in the corner of the end zone.
I think we're a little too old for that as well. 1st and 10, Louisiana. They'll stick to the ground game, and Davis absorbing contact and moving forward. What a great run by Bill Davis. And that'll move the chains again. 1st down, Louisiana.
Well, that's just an individual effort right there, because Davis got hit probably 3-4 times. He was hitting the X button or the Y or whatever
or the
it is,
or
and
whatever
making
it was.
him. Yeah, he was spinning and rolling and just kept those legs churning. Gets himself another 1st down.
Now Louisiana will start to take a little bit of time, a little bit of air out of the ball here. But if you're continuing to move forward in a positive fashion, you can certainly afford to do that. 1st and 10 at the South Alabama 37-yard line. Davis again gets to the 35 before he's pushed back. We'll give him 2, make it 2nd down and 8. Louisiana scored on their first 5 drives, had to punt the last time out. But now they're working their way toward the end zone to our right as Blaine Myrick in on the tackle for South Alabama.
Now South has the pleasure of looking into the sun as you look at defense all trying to cover up a little bit so they can see the signal coming in from the sideline.
Design run for Winfield, and he is caught from behind. Good defensive pursuit by Steven Johnson. Once he saw Lunch Winfield take it himself, Johnson just pinned his ears back and went right after him and brings up a 3rd down at about 9.
Just shedding people right there. Johnson had a stealth, Pat, 6'3", 324. Does a really good job of just working himself down that line.
And he moves with that frame too.
He really does. That's what I was going to say. You teach those young defensive linemen as guys are starting to pull and go, just get in their hip pocket, work the line with them. Don't try to get penetration, go down the line, and that's exactly what Johnson does right there.
But that's not good news for Louisiana. That was Lunch Winfield who sprinted to the Louisiana sideline, and
First charge of the
Walker
half.
Howard comes in as the new quarterback. So we'll get an eye on that and tell you what's next. It's 3rd and 9 for the Cajuns when we get back to Mobile. Well, here's the play that sent Lunch Winfield hobbling off to the sidelines. It was just a run around left end, and then he just hopped off the field and went straight, not inside the injury tent, but under a tent to get looked at. So Walker Howard will come in. 12 of 29, 3 interceptions so far on the year. He did get into the game last week against Troy and threw an interception. He's an Ole Miss transfer, 2 appearances with the Rebels, backing up Jackson Dart, who's having himself a heck of a career with the New York Giants. And Howard actually started at LSU before going to the portal and then going to Ole Miss. But he was the #1 dual threat quarterback out of St. Thomas More, STM, in Lafayette. He's got a 3rd and 9 here, and Howard will misfire trying to get Brock Chappell, and so that'll bring up 4th down. So you're in no man's land here. Do you try to pin South Alabama deep, or do you go for it?
Yeah, I'm really kind of shocked they came out and threw that ball right there. I mean, they've been running the ball so well, chunking off about 5-6 yards a clip. I would have ran that ball right there and then set myself up for 4th down and tried to run it again. But they're going to try a 52, 53-yard field goal attempt here.
Well, Sterner is 1 for 3 from this distance. He does have a 51-yarder to his credit. And the left-footed kicker will put the boot into it. Looked like it had the distance, but it is wide left. And the field goal no good, so we'll keep it at 31-14. We did see Lunch standing on the sidelines, although depending on what South Alabama does here offensively, if you're Dez, you may not put Lunch back in anyway.
Yeah, I would come back out and have a steady dose of run, see how much of this clock you can eat up depending on what South Alabama drive does for us here.
But if you're South Alabama, you see that situation developing on the other sideline, and this is the biggest opportunity here. You can pull this thing to within 10, and with a questionable quarterback, you still have a chance here. So pretty important drive offensively for South Alabama. Bishop Davenport with Keenan Phillips to his left. We haven't seen Kentrell Bullock come back in after he hobbled off. And it's 1st and 10, and Bishop to throw. Going downfield, he's got Jeremy Scott. He has it. Jeremy Scott, touchdown, South Alabama. Jeremy Scott beat the defender, and South Alabama on the board just like that.
And he just ran right past Jalen Clark, the safety, and I'm not sure if they bid on the fake. By the time I looked up, he was 2 or 3 yards behind Clark. Davenport sees him and drops a perfect ball into him. That got the shirtless crowd fired up again. They may be joining some numbers as South's going to go for 2.
Jags will go for 2. Davenport in the gun. Nope, check that. He's going to pull it in and go right side to Trent Thomas for the 2-point conversion. And don't turn that channel just yet, folks. South Alabama, the quick strike and the 2-point conversion. It's 31-22. We're back to Mobile after this. This one's not over. Well, you need to get back into a ball game quickly. That's one way to do it. One play, 64-yard drive. Bishop Davenport to Jeremy Scott, who beat the defense by about 3 yards. 2-point conversion tacked onto that, and it's 31-22, and we still have a ton of time left here in Mobile. 11 minutes, 59 seconds as Hamilton DeBoyan will tee it up and kick it off.
Do a little onside kick right into the sunlight over there at the 50, because everybody's having to kind of cover their eyes to see the ball. Well, you get one bounce up over there, you may not be able to see it.
Well, with the quarterback in question, I'd kind of see what they've got in the quarterback department at this point, as that one will go into the end zone, and it's 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. We'll see if Lunch is coming back or if it's Walker, and Lunch is indeed back on the field.
Yeah.
So
I was just trying to take advantage of the elements there, Pat. I mean, it's lined up perfect. And it's funny, I say that, I was kind of joking, but I'm watching both guys that are standing on between the logo and the 50 kind of cupping their eyes looking back at the kicker.
I'm sure the defensive coaches will be looking to see if there's any kind of noticeable limp. Doesn't look like it there, as Lunch will come back on the field. He's 14 of 15, 232 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, also ran for a touchdown. He's got Zylan Perry behind him, 1st and 10 at the 25. It'll be Perry right side, cutting back to his left, gets maybe 2. Good pressure by Ed Smith to make the stop.
And I was more watching Lunch right there after he handed the ball off and kind of carries his fake out a little bit, and then walking back over towards the huddle. Doesn't seem to have any limp whatsoever. I guess the big question will be, do we call that quarterback draw? Do we, watching him run for the first time, I guess, is, and then also not knowing which ankle it was, watching him if he does have to throw, stepping into a throw, how that works out for him as well.
He's got Sampson to the near side. They'll keep it on the ground instead, and a gain of 3, and that's about it. Now some life coming from the South Alabama defense. Wesley Miller is the guy blitzing from his safety position to make the stop, and brings up a 3rd and 5.
Just a great job of filling that hole right there by Miller, and then not only that, but then making that stop. That's a big stop. We've seen several times. Then maybe just a running back's able to put their feet in the ground and kind of make a guy miss, and Perry that time unable to make Miller miss.
Cajuns 7 of 10 on 3rd down today. They've got to get to the 35-yard line, and it is a designed run by Lunch, and he's going to be short. Blaine Myrick was the guy that wrapped him up below, and he's about 2 yards shy of the 1st down, and we'll see if Louisiana wants to go for it this deep in their own territory. They're at the 33, in between the 33 and the 34, so about 1.5 yards. And at least for now they're going to keep the offense on the field. Now, are they keeping the offense on the field to run a play, or to see if South Alabama will jump?
Yeah, I'm trying to go back to the Rolodex that is my short-lived memory, but I don't remember them having hardly any negative plays whatsoever today.
As a team this season, they're 5 of 12 on 4th down, and
they're going to make them burn that timeout. They were late substituting, so that gives South a chance, and South
Louisiana,
at that point decided send guys.
Second charge of the half.
That makes sense. So that'll leave Louisiana with 1 timeout. Right now, that's not a factor.
9:50 on the clock, please.
But if South Alabama continues to claw their way back in, that 1 timeout to play with may be a problem for Louisiana down the road. And let's see if they'll keep the offense here or if they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, that's one of those rules, too. I've heard several broadcast teams talk about that rule. It's got to change a little bit. Now, right there, South fully, because, they did it. They sub so late. South sends guys in. I mean, but I've seen that happen a couple times where guys are walking, out on the field with 15 seconds left and killing play clocks. But they have chosen to send out the punt team here. South's got to be really careful, make sure nobody jumps, and also be aware of the fake as well.
Torney at his own 20-yard line. Devin Voisin at his 20-yard line, set to field it. High snap. but plenty of time to get it away. And Devin calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 24-yard line. And so South Alabama offensively will come back out. And boy, you talk about the shot of momentum they got on the last, I put drive in air quotes because it was a one-play 64-yard strike for South Alabama to pull themselves within 9.
Yeah, how crazy. I mean, they go down and score here with, we got 9:45 left in this game, and this game was sitting at 31-7. You're thinking, whew, if you're South, you can't get out of here quick enough. And now you're thinking, hey,
got a shot here.
We got a shot here.
Phillips back in at running back. As Bishop Davenport, after that touchdown pass, now 175 yards of passing on the day. He'll go to Keenan Phillips in the flat. Makes one man miss, can't make the other. As Jaden Duggar is the guy that gets credit for the tackle. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and still no Bullock as well. And as I kind of scan the sideline, you don't see him up there in that little bunch right around the coaches where you usually see somebody that's getting ready to go in as well. So I think it's going to be Phillips from here on out.
Davenport, Jeremy Scott. At least they used to call it a button hook. I don't know if they call it a button hook now, but goes about 5-6 yards. Turns around. There's a look at Kentrell.
I think it's because people don't know what a button hook is.
Maybe. 3rd down and 4 for South Alabama. That's Thomas in motion. They'll give to Phillips. He's got the 1st down. Phillips all the way to the 40-yard line. Keenan Phillips. That's a big 3rd down conversion. And South Alabama, their 17th 1st down of the day.
Yeah, just a nice run right there. Gets them all the way out to the 40. Great job by our camera crew finding. I couldn't find Bullock, but they were able to do it. But yeah, you see the run right here. Lead block by Thompson. Gets him right up the middle, and then Phillips does the rest.
1st down and 10 for the Jags offense. Winding down toward the 8-minute mark. Davenport throwing right side into coverage, looking for Devin Voisin. And there's a flag down there, probably pass interference or hold or something that'll help South Alabama.
It looked like Voisin hesitated for just a second, and then when he went to get back on his route, reached out, grabbed him just
Pass
a little
interference.
bit.
Defense, number 11. 15-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
The Brett Gordon Jr. is the guy flagged with the pass interference. And that'll give South Alabama the football in Louisiana territory. It's a 7th penalty, 50 yards assessed against Louisiana today. And Bishop rolling right. Looking for Voisin. And boy, he just did get it over Jake St. Andre, the linebacker. Thought St. Andre at one point may pick that thing off, but it falls incomplete. 2nd down, trying to get it to Voisin.
And not only, just watching I'm trying to get it over the linebacker. I thought also the cornerback coming up quick right there. That was
Gordon who just got the pass interference call.
Yeah, Brent Gordon Jr. had a chance at that ball as well, as it looks like they may bring pressure here.
2nd down, there's Phillips. Gain of about 6 just inside the 40-yard line. That'll leave him 4 yards shy. It's 3rd down and 4.
It's a great play call when you can get your offensive line to pick that pressure up, because they're going one-on-one, and Phillips is able to squeeze through the line right there.
Keep it on the ground. Phillips stood up at the 37-yard line, shy of the 1st down, so South will have to go for it here on 4th down.
It's going to be 4th and short. They do sub out, so I thought for a second they may play with tempo, but since they subbed, it gives Louisiana a chance to sub as well. See what South dials up here on 4th and short.
Got to get to the 35-yard line to keep this drive alive. A shade north of 7 minutes to go. Bishop, 1st down, South Alabama. That was one of those catch the snap, look and see where the hole is, and get us 2 yards, and he did.
Like they went movement behind Big Asher Hale. Trying to see who the lead blocker was right there that does a good job. It was Asher Hale that pulled.
Rod Gibbs in there as well. So first down and 10 on the fourth down conversion. And the Jags moving the football once again. Bishop looking for Jeremy Scott. Makes a move. Gets the catch inside the 25-yard line to the 24. Jeremy Scott was a leading receiver against Georgia State last week. And he's been the guy, especially lately, for South Alabama. Got 5 catches and closing in on 100 yards. First and 10 Jags at the 20, second down, I should say, second and 2. And they'll go back to Scott, and he'll make a move. Does get the first down, though. That was an 8-yard catch the previous play. That one will move the sticks inside the red zone. First down, 5 minutes and 50 seconds and counting.
I think he kind of double moved himself right there. He couldn't decide if he wanted to turn in or out, and then I think his feet got tangled up on him a little bit, but more importantly, he picks up the first down.
You got Voisin in one-on-one coverage up top. And they'll keep it on the ground here to Phillips. And Keenan Phillips making players miss and lunging down to the 12.
Yeah, again, they pull Asher Hale from that right guard position. He's going to lead you up the hole. 6'5", 305-pound sophomore. He's a Mobile native playing that offensive line.
Phillips into the teeth of the Louisiana defense. Gets to the 15. That'll leave him about 3 yards short. It'll be third down and about 3. They get to the 12-yard line. And now some substitutions each way. Again, as this possession becoming more and more important, although you need a field goal in this scenario anyway. So if you don't score the touchdown here, Davis Little will be an option.
Yeah, but if you're South, field goal game's been a little shaky as well as Bullock comes back in.
Yeah, Kentrell Bullock is there, and he is the lead blocker for Bishop Davenport. Spins his way to the 6-yard line. First down, Jags.
Boy, Davenport does a good job of holding on to that ball because Bullock gets the block, but you will see an arm come reaching out right there. Pulls him away.
Kentrell Bullock fighting off tacklers, getting to the 1. And slams the ball down in frustration because he wanted to get into the end zone, but he'll stay on the field. Second and goal from the 1-yard line. Bullock, nothing doing. That hole closed quickly. Good defensive line pressure. Many guys in on that tackle. Fitzgerald West Jr. among the guys to make the stop. And as we wind down under 4 minutes to go, third down and goal for South Alabama.
Boy, and the bad thing for South, you got to come out with something here because you've been over a 5-minute drive here from the 24 all the way down. So you probably are going to have to, after you score, you wish that sun was back in that other place because you're probably going to have to resort back to an onside kick.
Davenport trying to readjust the offensive line, and now it'll be Bishop to throw it right side. Catch is made. Did he get into the end zone? No, he's shy of the end zone. Well, it's good pitch and catch there to Breck Long, but he didn't break the plane, and it's fourth and goal.
Yeah, Long's trying to get out of there, and he gets kind of a little chip block as you'll see him trying to come through traffic right there. And that slowed him down a little bit. Ball's thrown behind him, and he just can't get there.
So fourth and goal from the 1-inch line. Kentrell Bullock is stopped at the 1. The Jags turned away. It was Jaden Duggar who made a great play on the previous play. And then the Louisiana defense steps up once again to make the stop of Kentrell. And it'll be a turnover on downs.
Defense,
Well,
number 7.
or not.
Lined up in the neutral zone.
Wow.
Be half the distance. Replay the down.
Cortland Flowers lined up in the neutral zone, and that'll get the shirtless wonders going on the opposite side of the stadium. We'll do it again. Fourth and goal from the 1.
Boy, that'll drive you crazy as a coach because that's not an interior lineman that's trying to get in there and tighten up. You're talking about somebody completely on the outside in the cornerback position that's way outside. And usually usually the official will scream at you, you know, back up 7, back up, and for some reason just lines up offsides.
You see how close South Alabama is. Inside the 1 yard line, about a foot, maybe foot and a half.
Yeah.
Louisiana has had a couple of defensive stands so far.
And to his defense, he's probably man-on-man coverage, probably playing press, and he's really trying to get up so he can at least get hands on the receiver, because you're looking for that slant route as far as the receiver was out. And so as the officials talk right here.
The offside was a live ball foul. The runner was short of the line of game, which was the goal line. The ball goes over, first down, Louisiana.
How is it a...
Okay, now what?
The offsides, yeah, offsides is a dead ball foul. We can't have offsides in a live ball because you can't.
Major Applewhite he had charged out to the numbers. He comes back to the sideline, and they're going to discuss it again. I've never seen an offside called a live ball foul, and that's what Major Applewhite is saying. That's a dead ball foul.
Yeah, because once the ball snapped, he's no longer offsides. They said he lined up offsides. That's a dead ball foul.
I would think so. And Major Applewhite has the same question.
Correction. The ball will be placed at the half-yard line due to the offside on the defense. Be fourth down, South Alabama.
So there you go. They got it right. And you know, everybody's human.
Right.
But I appreciate the fact that the officials got together, discussed it, and get the call right. At the end of the day, get the call right. That's what they did. And so it'll be 4th down and goal once again for South Alabama with 2:45 to go.
Of course, I Major wish they would have done it beforehand, so his blood pressure probably didn't. We got him on a monitor. I'm sure he spiked pretty hard right there on the first announcement. But yeah, everybody, as the shirtless crew now, is just breaking it down.
All right, here we go. 4th and goal. Jags have to get into the end zone to keep this thing alive. Kentrell Bullock is in the backfield. Jags will not go under center. They will stay in the shotgun, which is their MO. And Major will call the timeout.
South Alabama. First charge of the half. 30 seconds in length.
With that timeout, I think you're right. I was questioning, do they need an onside kick with 3 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout coming up? But you call the timeout here, and you're probably, yes, looking at an onside kick if South Alabama scores here. So 4th and goal. Major Applewhite giving the instructions. He was the offensive coordinator under Kane Womack for a couple of years, and then when Kane left to become the defensive coordinator in Alabama, Major was promoted to the head coach in his 2nd season here. We've asked the players on several occasions, do you know how good of a player this guy was? Like, yeah, I've heard something about him. Yeah, he kind of played at Texas with some guy named Ricky Williams.
Yeah, he was pretty good back in the day. He could spin them, right?
He's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah. All right, so if we've seen South have success when they've let Davenport either fake the ball to Bullock and let him be the lead blocker.
Well, let's see what they choose to do. It's Bullock. You got Long, Gibbs. Those are your 2 tight ends on one side. Trent Thomas, the tight end, on the other. 4th and goal from inside the 1. It's Bullock at the goal line. Did he get in? Officials will converge and take a look at the pile. And they say no. Louisiana with another defensive stand.
The ruling on the field is a runner short of the goal line. First down, Louisiana.
The Jags couldn't punch it in from the 1.
Please set the game clock to 2:41. 2:41, please.
I didn't see any part of Kentrell Bullock or the ball that could cross that goal line. And boy, what a play defensively for South Alabama. If you go back to last year's game in Lafayette, the Jags made a similar play that kept Louisiana out of the end zone. And this time, Kentrell Bullock couldn't make it happen. I think that's fight.
Ruling on the field. The runner was short of the goal line. Previous play is under video review.
And they'll take a look, which is smart.
Yeah,
I think that was Drennan
second
fight.
angle, you can almost see it looked like he made a little bit of a crease, and I don't know. I mean, there's not enough on those two that we've seen, the two angles we've seen, to overturn anything.
As far as we know,
yeah.
we've been extremely wrong on.
Like you, I joked with the replay officials before the game. I'm 1 for 22 this year, so.
It'd be tough to tell from that angle, but it was Drennan fight, the guy that went low and got Kentrell Bullock's feet. And this right by the goal line, not exactly on the goal line, but it just didn't look like he got any kind of surge whatsoever. I don't see any part of Bullock that got across the goal line.
You see right here where he kind of looks like he may slide just a little to the left, but you can't see if, I don't know if he has the ball extended or where it is, if it's still high and tight up on his chest. I definitely don't think he's in. This may be an angle right here from up top that we can kind of see. There's that little crease that he goes for. Oh, but they do a nice job. He didn't reach the ball out.
Ashton
like
Wright
does a good job of just kind of.
Ashton Wright, you see his big left paw that had Kentrell and kind of pushed him back. It doesn't look like any part of Kentrell got past the goal line.
I mean, what a play by Wright, because Perciado's got, I mean, he's engaged with him, but Ashton Wright still able to kind of fight through that contact. Perciado to hold him up right there at the goal line. I think this one stays right where it is.
See if they uphold the ruling on the field that he was short of the goal line. Here's the call.
The ruling on the field is upheld. It's first down, Louisiana.
So the Ragin' Cajuns with a couple of defensive stands inside the 1 yard line, and they'll take over 1st and 10 with a 9-point lead and just 2:41 to play. Talk about a game of inches, and certainly today will prove that. Now the challenge for Louisiana offensively is get it out from the shadow of your own goalpost. Jags will bring some pressure, but it's Zylan Perry who will dive to about the 3 yard line. And when you get to your own 3 and you feel like you have breathing room, you know you're back up, right?
Yeah,
South Alabama.
Pretty far
Second charge
back
of the
there,
half.
but just a nice
30
job
seconds.
Just making sure you
Please
get
put
out of there.
2:39 on the clock.
Because the other thing that helps you for being that close as well, even when you're pulling folks, anybody holding in the end zone also, you know, becomes a safety. And so now they've got themselves a little breathing room. If their offensive linemen aren't heels in the end zone, that'll help out as well.
So it's timeout South Alabama. They have 1 more to work with and the 2-minute timeout still to go. So they could get it back with a lot of time on the clock, but you got to have 2 scores because they're down 9.
I tell you who's given up. Is our shirtless crew. They have
started to dwindle a little bit.
After the stop on goal line, the shirtless crew all high-fived each other, and they are slowly disbanding.
So 2nd down and 8 for Louisiana at their own 3 yard line. Winner of this one still has a slight hope of bowl eligibility. The loser will not go to the postseason. Winfield stopped across the 5 yard line, gets to the 6. Major Applewhite calls the timeout again, and it's 3rd down.
Timeout, South Alabama.
Gives you
3rd and final timeout. 30 seconds in length.
Does give you some indication of how the ankle may be feeling for Lunch Winfield when they let him run the ball there on 2nd down.
But what a day he's had. 14 of 15, 232 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. And on the ground, 14 carries, 38 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. I don't know what other teams across the Sun Belt will do, but if you're looking for a Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Week, he's certainly going to be in the mix, because that Louisiana offense that has struggled before today. Put up 394 yards of total offense, 232 through the air, 162 on the ground. Not numbers that'll bowl you over, but he's been effective when they needed him. And South's defense just didn't have an answer for him for most of the day.
Yeah, his only competition right now maybe Sampson Jr., right?
Right, that's true.
I mean, 6 catches, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, along of 45 on the day. So he's had a pretty good one as well.
So 3rd down. It's Winfield again, spin move, and he'll go to the 10-yard line. So he'll be about a yard shy of the 1st down, and they'll let this thing run down to the 2-minute timeout. Winfield signaling he got a 1st down, but he's well shy. Unless there's a very generous spot, which I don't think there is. And no, it is 4th down and 1. So they'll let it run down to the 2-minute mark, and there's your last time out of the ball game. Jags are out of them, and we'll see what Louisiana does. You would assume punt it away here and see
2-minute
if South Alabama has a miracle left in them. 2 minutes to go. It's the Cajuns 31, the Jags 22. Back for the final 2 minutes after this on ESPN+. On the left, Michael Desormeaux on the right. Both teams coming in 2-6. The winner is still with postseason hopes. Right now, I'd like to be in Dez's shoes because the Cajuns have a 9-point lead. They got to punt it away, but they got a 9-point lead, 2 minutes left, and the Jags are out of timeouts. So the punt will come from the end zone. Jags coming after it, but can't get to it. There's Devin Voisin. Fair catch at his 48-yard line. And now we'll see what the Jags can do with no timeouts remaining. It was a defensive stand by Louisiana. Jags had a couple of shots inside the 1. Couldn't punch it in. Now we'll see what they can do here.
It's one of those ones people are probably thinking in the back of their mind, well, you said earlier they need 2 scores, so why don't you kick that? Because the chance of you getting
inside
on
the
one
yeah.
inch line again, you know, is that was your best opportunity to get 7 points on the board.
Yeah, I completely agree with the call to go for it.
Yeah.
So the Jags 53 yards away. Davenport goes to the safety valve, and Phillips, he'll get across the 50 to the other 47, but clock runs after the gain of 6. 2nd down and 4. 138, 137. Bishop across the middle, and that is picked off. Jaden Duggar jumped the route, and that will do it. Louisiana will continue their streak
on the field is an interception. First down, Louisiana.
Of what they've done here in Mobile. It has been 3,642 days in this series since South Alabama has beaten Louisiana at home. November 12th, 2015, the last time that the Jags have beaten the Cajuns in Mobile.
Duggar's had himself a day as well. I mean, gets the interception right there, but we've seen some big stops. Now all I can hear in my head is that song from, I think, Rent, 3,600.
Been a long time.
Yeah,
and this is a
wow.
This is a series. This is the 14th meeting between these two. And that's a pretty good games between the Cajuns and the Jags. And the road team, weirdly, has had the upper hand, especially lately. Now the shirt's going back on at the top of Hancock-Whitney Stadium.
Yeah, well, and you said it. I mean, this is going to be Louisiana's first road win of the year as well. 0-4 coming into tonight. And boy, I mean, you got a hats off to Lunch Winfield and Sampson at wide receiver, and then Duggar on defense as well. I mean, they've played a well of a game today to get their first road win and keep themselves at least in the conversation of bowl eligibility.
And you got an offensive line that's been having issues. They were able to make it happen today, and so now the question is, can they continue their streak? They've got to host Texas State next. They'll go to Arkansas State and then host ULM. So if they could win those 3, the Cajuns would finish 6-6 and bowl eligible. And now the Hugs on the Louisiana sideline as the Cajuns will kneel it out on 3rd down. And Louisiana comes into Mobile, and they're now 3-6 on the year, 2 in Sun Belt play. South Alabama drops to 2-7, 1-4 in the conference as the 2 head coaches converge at midfield. And now South Alabama will play for pride. They'll have next week off before going to ULM. Their last home game will happen November 22nd against Southern Mississippi. But what a job by Louisiana to come in here and get the victory. They won 8 of the last 10 and maintain that bowl eligibility. A good job for the Cajuns.
Yeah, great job. Just so impressed. I mean, we've talked about it probably ad nauseum, but you know, so many people talking about Lunch Winfield and his ability with the legs, but boy, today he was able to do it through the air, and a large part of that was his receiver Sampson helping him out. But we're going to finish at 14 of 15, 232 yards, and they needed to throw in about another 40 on the ground. That young man had a great day. Great to see him back in the game. When he hobbled off earlier, it looks like he's going to be sore, but he'll be playing again next week.
Well, the Cajuns scored on their first 5 drives. That set the tone. Furious comeback by the Jags falls short, and Louisiana gets the win, 31-22. So for Brian Gennard, I'm Pat Greenwood saying so long from Mobile, Alabama, Hancock-Whitney Stadium. Again, 31-22 your final score. Louisiana is the winner. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.